Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live every Saturday right here on Thinking Critical YouTube. Got a great panel. We've got a lot of movie stuff to talk about. There's a little bit of comic news here and there, but mostly it was the movies that stole the week with the Flash trailer. We also had the news on the MCU in Phase 5. We've also got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Josh McDonald. Spoilers, love the movie. We'll get into that one, obviously, at the end of the film. And we got some great people joining us. We haven't seen MVP, the man with the most ferocious, villainous name in all of comic book YouTube, Maxfield Von Priestley. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Yeah, once again, thank you again for having me back on. We had some scheduling conflicts, but I was finally able to find some time this weekend. And it's a pleasure because I've been watching you guys like on my way to go do work or, in the car or whatnot. But it's finally glad to be back and in the conversation. So I appreciate it. And hello to the chat as well. Love to see you guys.
Absolutely. We're going to have a great one today. Who else do we have? Jim. You made it for another week. Every week, Jim almost dies doing something.
Yes, I'm here.
You survived the furnace again?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to still wake up. I have my coffee. I'm getting ready. Thanks for having me. Great panel, all that stuff. And yeah, talking about a little bit of comics is more my thing. We have the movies, though, that everybody are fired up. And I'm still trying to get over the Eagles losing the Super Bowl, which I'm sure will make Wes smile. A big smile there.
It's very good. I've got the NFL International Game Pass. I got to watch the movie. The game live. It was amazing. Had a lot of good fun.
Yeah, it was lovely. Lovely it was.
They screwed us out of a touchdown. We should have beat you guys worse than we did.
Wow. Yeah, wow. We could go there. But if the Eagles defense would have shown up, maybe would have had a better game. But yeah, still reeling from that.
They said that was the highest score of a losing team ever.
Yeah, it was
pretty amazing. Amazing game.
It's something only Philadelphia could pull off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most points ever scored in the Super Bowl for a loser. Sounds about right for Philly. Who else we got here? We got Yule Carter, comic book retailer from Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. The comic book retailer that gives zero fucks anymore. He just doesn't care. He's got his own YouTube channel, and he's taking on the comic book industry. He ain't taking it no more. How you doing, Yule?
I'm fine. Just check out Fantastic Comics wherever you go. I'm great. Thanks for having me on 2 weeks in a row. A lot of movie talk.
I know, and you don't like
I think I can hang, but I thought for sure one of the panelists would be Fatal J.
Fatal J is not always available. He's a hard man to get a hold of.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I just thought, this is his time of season, all these releases.
We're not
reviews.
We're not talking about Zack Snyder, so
that's true.
He's not here.
It's the end of Zack Snyder is what it appears. Now, Yule.
Yes, sir.
You've been cracking open slabs. Did you crack open anything good this week?
Actually, I cracked open the only comic I ever actually sent out to get graded, and it was the reason why I did this one was important. It was Tales of the New Teen Titans 44. So the first Nightwing, you get the history of Deathstroke and his son and all those people. But it also was representative of what my childhood collection would be like. If that one came back at a certain grade, I know that most of my comics would be that also. So I cracked open, and my whole thing is CGC is a scam. Let's take their comics off the grid. We don't want to be on the grid, right? At least not our comics. And I cracked that one open. So, not a super, super high expensive comic, but a 9.4, and that's
one of the greatest comic books ever written.
I totally agree. Well, when we get to the end of the show, I'll tell you what I think is one of the best comics ever written, and I actually read that last night. But
we reviewed it right here on the channel with Joe Corallo and Eric Bree.
I watched it.
That was a great one. Joe Corallo, big shout out. He's in London right now.
Whoa!
What?
He sent me a picture. He's hanging out with Dave Gibbons.
Jeez, Joe, big time in SA.
Yeah.
Dave
Gibbons. You believe that? He's across the pond having a good time in Europe right now. So congratulations to Joe if you're out there. I hope you're not watching this. I hope you're enjoying the city of London. But if you are, congratulations. That photo looked like you're having a good time. All right, Josh, we've actually got something for you. Someone has already spoken to you. Carrie says, warning, guys, Josh, that Modoc clip, MCU is on its last leg. Go anime. What the hell is she talking about?
I shared a clip that someone posted a clip from the Ant-Man movie that's part of the climax, and I shared it and put spoilers, and it's like, this is literally the end of the climax, and I'll leave it at that. I'll let you go watch it if you want to watch it, but it's terrible. Also, Fatal J loved this movie, so I'm glad he's not here.
No.
That makes sense.
Oh.
Are you saying you didn't love the movie? You defended Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and you're not defending Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania?
Look, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a good movie. It's got good writing, good dialogue, good scenes, good action, and good character development. This has none of that. I've got people that I would consider Marvel shills. Like, I know y'all like to call me a shill, but whatever. I've got people that literally everything that comes out, they're like, it's amazing, it's amazing. And even some of them are coming out going, I didn't feel anything watching that. And I'm like, no shit.
I didn't feel anything seeing the trailer, so I wasn't even going to check it out.
I mean, look, the Kang stuff, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, no, I was not a fan.
I'll tell you this. After watching Top Gun Maverick, I can't take any more CGI fest. I want to see real people doing real stuff. I can't take fake versions of people in fake worlds that aren't. There's nothing realistic about any of it anymore.
I'm gonna catch some heat for this, but that's part of what I actually liked about Eternals was they actually filmed it in real locations, and you had a real scenery that felt real. Even
so you like the Eternals?
I said I liked the filming. The
He just said
of
it.
Eternals is good.
I heard it.
I heard it. Fucking mouth. Just loop me in with Sean from Comics Elite. It's my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. What I'm saying here, Josh. If you're gonna make it a CGI fest, it better look as good as Avatar or Avatar 2. Otherwise, I don't want to see it anymore. It's ridiculous.
And what I will say is, honestly, aside from Modoc, the CGI was really, really good here. We'll talk about it later.
We'll get to that. I'm tired of it.
Agreed.
Go back to the claymation fucking art. I want to see Clash of the Titans stuff. That was more realistic than what we're getting in most movies nowadays.
Yeah, and when you can film on location, go film on location. Like, you can't, even if you think, or it looks like it's supposed to be real, you can typically sense that it's not real. So,
last but not least, we do have Doc, the man who's been with us from day one. Enjoyed comic books. We got a review in today. We talked about Lazarus Planet, Dark Fate #1. An amazing comic if there ever was one, Doc.
I hate you, and I hate that comic, and fuck.
It's almost over. It's almost over.
It just fucking started.
It's almost over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is
the Fallout is what you have to look forward to.
The whole comic is about Fallout.
Yeah, we do an entire review. It'll be up on Monday. We've got Skip out there, and I just want to say, if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, the man covers them, and this is the first year in like 12 years he's had anything good to talk about. They're absolutely kicking butt and taking names. Who would have thought that the Kings could actually be good? So he's on cloud 9. Good to see Skip there. Maybe we'll try and get Skip on the panel next week. Everyone loves that guy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm down.
Everyone's
forever.
Yeah, we haven't talked to
Let
Skip
you
in a while.
talk.
We need to get him on. All right, let's talk about the stuff we came to talk about. Wait, actually, before that, there were a couple of super chats. Dallas Moderman, thank you for telling me about Titan Comics reprinting 70s Conan. My coworker is excited. Well, that's what we try to do. We want you to be excited about comic books and the stuff that's out there that's worth investing in. And anytime you can get a Conan reprint, absolutely do that. Cal Lyle says, Ant-Man 3, socialism is a good thing. I hate his daughter. Modoc's a joke. Kang is boring like Wakanda, Birth of a Nation, without dying or drying Namor's back. Oh my goodness. I don't think he liked Ant-Man in the Wasp Quantumania.
No.
Doesn't sound like it, no.
Nah. Not surprising. Why'd you go see it? I mean, I hope you pirated it and didn't go spend your money on that damn movie.
I will consider watching it whenever it hits, like
Disney Plus.
No, the Sailing the High
TNT.
Seas.
Oh,
Yeah. He's talking about the Pirate Bay.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Until
good copies. You don't want to watch like I was sitting in a movie theater.
Oh
copy.
no,
Like the Russian subtitles, and then someone gets
Yeah.
up and spills their popcorn on the guy filming it.
You got all that shadow that you can't see through.
MVP knows what I'm talking about. When I was in Afghanistan, like you'd be waiting for the day when like the dude that cuts hair all of a sudden has a bootleg copy of Thor.
I was about to say,
goodness.
I watched the finale of the MCU, the Endgame film. We watched it in our, like little tent hut, on our cots, and it was sold to us by some, Iraqi gentleman, and it was awful
We call them
quality.
the Hajis.
And you could see people getting up in the theater and moving around and the camera shaking. That's how I watched Endgame. So yeah,
That's how I watched Thor.
I used to try to convince my kids that was like the real experience. Look, kids, it's like we're in the theater, and they're like, "No, Dad, screw you, you cheap ass."
You got a bad copy. That's what when Oscar season happens. It was amazing. All of a sudden, you get these great prestige copies of the films.
Yeah, that's how we used to do it. That's how we used to do it in college. Just that was how we watched movies in the late 90s, early 2000s in college. That was it.
How did you get away with that in the 90s though? Let me go set up my tripod and my big camera.
I think he's talking about file sharing.
Yeah, the file sharing, but that was but we still saw somebody set up a goddamn whole.
Yeah, you weren't the one that did it, is my point.
No,
I know. I'm just saying, how did you get away with filming it? It's easy to have a cell phone.
I don't think they care in Russia. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true.
I'm pretty sure
that works there.
I'm 90% sure it was staff that actually.
Yeah, the projector guy usually used to do it. That was one of the things you can kind of tell.
Those stoners.
Yeah.
MVP and I did it because we had to, because we were stuck in the shit, and there's no getting out of it.
It was born out of necessity.
It was by our head. Doc is, doing fucking beer bongs, watching fucking bootleg movies, being a cheap ass,
playing hacky sack.
I was
fucking hackies. You can see Doc was definitely a hacky sacker on the fucking quad.
On the quad, it's always on the quad. Those assholes.
Never did hacky sack. Did do way too many fucking beer bongs.
I can tell, Doc.
Yeah.
And Lane Graven says, "Don't worry, Hellcat #1's coming for you, Doc. Soon."
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait. Wes, you're gonna torture me with that, aren't you?
Absolutely. Anthony McGregor, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really appreciate the pounds here. If you have a question or something, put it in the comment section. Hopefully one of the guys will be able to key it off for me. Cal Weil also says, "I don't care about the Flash." Well, I got bad news for you, sir. We have to talk about the Flash because that's what everyone was talking about to begin the week. The big Flash Super Bowl commercial. I was enjoying the game. Everybody else was enjoying the theatrics of the Flash movie. Josh, you are a borderline Hollywood insider. You actually lived in Hollywood. You were a writer, a screenwriter. You were on TV shows and stuff like that. What do you think? Is this what you imagined it could be when they were hyping the hell out of it for the last 2 or 3 months?
I mean, I'll say that I think the trailer looked solid. I think the biggest thing that's going to be my challenge is whether or not I support it because of Ezra Miller. Because I'm torn. If you throw Keaton, and look, it's very clear DC and Warner Brothers has no faith in Ezra Miller, and you can say it's because of the scandal, but it goes even beyond. It goes way before that. Because if you remember back at Fandom when they first revealed anything about this Flash movie, they led with Michael Keaton Batman is coming back. Mm-hmm. They know for a fact Flash is not going to carry a film, especially Ezra Miller Flash. And this trailer leans heavily into Batman. And not only Michael Keaton Batman, but they have quite a few clips of Ben Affleck as well.
He also did the voiceover, or one of the 3 voiceovers.
Yeah. So it's just it looks like a good film. It looks like it could be really exciting and entertaining. It looks like something we would typically want from a comic book movie. More about that later. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. I have an
I've
AMC
only seen
pass.
the Flashpoint in the Flash show, though. It's a story that's been told before.
It has been. It has. So I don't know. We'll see. It looks really good. It looks like it's, and that's kind of where I'm looking at it too, is I want to support other people that are behind this. The direction looks like it's great. And it looks like it's bouncing a couple things really well. So we'll see. But yeah, as far as what I was hearing, I thought the trailer kind of lived up to the rumors I've been hearing. So,
but trailers can be misleading.
One
trailers for terrible movies, like all the
100%.
Fast and Furious movies.
Oh my God! Look, I still remember that one of my favorite superhero trailers was X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh man!
And then that movie came out, and it was awful.
Yikes! Yeah,
that was a kick in the balls. That was like the first time you're like, "Whoa!"
Is Doc having Tourette's down here?
He loves Fast and the Furious. I might have thrown that out there just to fuck him.
Yes,
I know how to get him. Those trailers look much better than the movie. Even the Transformers trailers, like the one with Anthony fucking Hopkins narrating it. You're like, oh wow, this feels epic. Then when you go watch it, and you're like, oh wow, this is trash.
The Transformers movie.
Yeah, where they had him like they connected the Transformers to King Arthur.
Yeah,
the Keepers of Excalibur or something stupid.
And he had his robot butler.
Robot butler?
Yeah, it was like a human-sized transformer.
Oh God.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think whoever edited this trailer, I don't know if they, directed it or edited it, or if they put like shots in there that were specifically for the trailer, but whoever edited this thing did a fantastic job, because whoever it was basically took all these fans from one day, from the first day being James Gunn stuff, I don't really know, do we do this, kind of being wishy-washy, to people coming out in droves the next second being like, this is going to be the best thing DC has ever released. I'm going to go see this opening day. Supergirl's the best thing ever. He took a fan base from here to there in a span of one minute Super Bowl trailer. So I can't fault him for that.
But this has nothing to do with James Gunn and his DCU plans. This is the leftover stuff from Walter and Modoc.
And that's what I was questioning. I was like, so because this doesn't yeah, that's the odd thing, is this going to affect the Gunn verse? And is it going to have any sort of ramifications? And Josh, I know you were saying on some of my streams earlier last week, is that this is testing really well. The film is actually testing very well with testing audiences. So if this does do well and it makes a ton of money and gets great reviews, are they going to have to pivot from this point? Are they going to have to say, well, instead of Tom King Supergirl, we need to bring Kara or
Sasha Calle
Supergirl. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see that they're gonna pretty much. I mean, there might be
do everything they can to connect it if it's successful.
Yeah, I mean, like if it's successful and people respond to this actress, sure, they'll keep the actress and still go with Tom King's story. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. But I'm pretty certain in saying that Ezra Miller's out after this. So
gotta be.
One can only hope. Yeah. One can only hope.
When James Gunn was out there on his, talking about the stuff that he had coming out, the first thing he talked about were the movies that were still going to be coming out. And the first thing he said was, there's a lot of trust issues for some people with James Gunn. I personally, I'm either or with him. I don't care. It's movies. It's Marvel and DC movies. Who gives a shit, right? But he was a whole audience, exactly. And you know what he said? He said that Flash was he said it was a great movie.
The best superhero movie he's ever seen, or something.
Exactly. All right, so let's just pretend, just for a moment, this preview was good on the Super Bowl. Let's say it is. Okay. Does that give you a little bit more confidence in James Gunn going forward? This guy does have some taste. He does have some things I'm interested in, and maybe he won't drop the ball, especially since he's already said that this stuff is coming out prior to his, and then, it does end up being good. Can that instill a little bit more confidence in y'all?
I've already seen 4 superhero movies from James Gunn, and none of them ever made me think that he could do Superman. So, I mean, you still got to wait and see what happens on that one. But
it can't be worse than Zack Snyder or that shit beforehand. Yeah.
You are correct there. Although, what was fucking Michael Shannon's Zod doing there? I was like, what?
It's just a big old mishmash of stuff.
If you think about it, though, if you really think about it, it's a brilliant move, because you've kind of got DC split up into 2, now kind of converging on 3 different camps. But you're getting 2 of these camps super excited. So you're getting kind of like I guess the older fogies like us are like, fuck yeah, I'll go see Michael Keaton again in the cowl. Like, why not? Like, they should have continued with him after Batman Returns and should have kept Tim Burton. Yeah, you've got these people that want to go see it. You got the Snyder fans that are now kind of excited about it because it's pulling so many elements from Snyder's work.
They're all gonna be depressed when it's done.
Well, I know that, but
it's a nice little goodbye card. It's a Dear John letter.
Pretty much
everything. We're doing everything. It even looked like there was a little Chris Nolan Batman in there.
That motorcycle clip,
yes.
I thought it was. So there's a rumor that there's another Batman in there.
I believe it. It kind of looked like at least that's what they were hinting at.
Yeah.
Jim, you're a DC Comics fan, right, Jim?
Yes, I am.
So you're watching the Super Bowl, and it's clear at one point Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are coming back, and they're gonna beat the Philadelphia Eagles.
No. See, at
Did
this point,
trailer bring you out of it? Did it make
this
you
is
happy?
the problem. I was all excited when that trailer played. It seemed like happy days were here again, and I watched the trailer, and I didn't really care about this movie. I will tell you that I got a little more pumped up from the trailer. I think that MVP is 100% right. They edited it in a way that actually, I mean, I can't stand Ezra Miller. I don't want to support him or them. I don't like him as an actor.
Yeah.
I hate his jerk off face. I just don't like him.
He was terrible in that Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. But with that, they did a way of editing. It wasn't just they made him seem a little likable in the trailer. He's hugging people, he's doing his thing and whatnot. And you kind of like, okay, but I don't want to support them, but I kind of got excited about it. It actually did its job, but I was happy at the point when that trailer played. I was all pumped up. I'm like, this is great. I was making wings at the time. I was having some fun. And then all hell broke loose later.
So when did you know that the Chiefs were going to win and it was game over?
Now, okay, you want to know seriously? If I'm going to be very serious, I knew it in the first quarter. The Eagles did not look right. The defense was not playing well. They weren't getting a pass rush, and I knew that you can't have that go on with the Chiefs offense. So seriously, throughout the game, I was nervous and thought they were going to lose. Maybe I'm a bad fan. Plus, I thought that Andy Reid probably would be able to adjust better at halftime than Sirianni. So I was worried the whole time. Well,
you don't like halftime.
Yeah,
Josh.
Yeah.
Fucking Beyonce for 29 minutes.
Yeah.
Beyonce? No. Rihanna, my girl Rihanna.
It was Rihanna. It was okay. It was Rihanna for 49 minutes.
First off, I still have not watched the halftime show, so sorry.
I thought you liked it.
Man.
I thought you watched the Super Bowl for the halftime show, Josh.
No.
I turned it off when the halftime started. I went and did stuff.
I went and made. My wife yelled to me from the other room, "I think Rihanna's pregnant," and then she announced she was pregnant. I'm like, "All right, then." She knew right away. I was like, "That's cool."
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I saw, because I for the most part, I think the majority of people were saying that they were excited about this trailer and that they were excited for the film. Well, I guess more so just excited for the trailer because they were like, man, this looks really good. I don't know how that's going to transfer into whether or not they go watch the film or whether they're going to support Ezra, because there's a lot of stuff weighing on this film, whether it's like the different Batman or Ezra being in the film and whether or not people want to support it. But one thing that I noticed was like how the excitement level was to an extent to where I was like, man, if this is our expectation, you know what I mean? Like people can just throw whatever they want at us at this point. And so I think reactions need to be somewhat realistic, because if something good does actually come out and people start to praise it, no one's going to know the difference between the reactions between this reaction and a reaction that's actually genuine and saying, this is a movie you need to go support and see. And I think people on Twitter have that mixed up, especially like on Rotten Tomatoes and shill sites like CBR. You'll have these people coming out in droves being like, this is, this best Supergirl in the world. But we may see an even better Supergirl, but it's going to be difficult to temper our expectations and realize which one is going to be the best, because you have all these people that are coming out just like, throwing themselves at this trailer. And I think that's the difficult part is like, where do we see those genuine reactions from people?
So, Josh, do you think that it was smart of them to go and do the opposite of what the MCU did with Spider-Man? There were rumors that we were going to see 2 other Spider-Men in that No Way Home movie, but they never confirmed it. There were some pictures that came out that kind of looked like maybe it confirmed it, but they never actually said it was going to happen. It was never in the trailer. DC said, fuck it. We're coming out with the 2 Batman. We're hitting member berries on day 1, and that's why we're going to get people into the theater.
Possibly. I think they knew they needed this with this movie.
They didn't have the goodwill of the audience like Spider-Man had.
Yeah, I mean, because even at that point, that was closer to Endgame. You had less stuff come out from the MCU that wasn't great, and I think people just kind of like are willing to give a go for Spider-Man. And the rumor alone that you would have Toby and why can't I think of his name? The other British guy,
Garfield?
Andrew
Garfield. Yeah.
I think that kind of drove some people, and then I think Marvel and Sony both knew that the confirmation coming afterwards would help this have some like leg room to keep going. And I think if you didn't at least announce that you were going to have Keaton and Affleck ahead of this, it was going to be even more dead on arrival. So, I think it was a smart move. I think they needed to do this.
It was definitely cool seeing Michael Keaton.
Agreed. Completely agree.
Looks as good as he did back in 1989.
I will say, and this is what I will say. After seeing Michelle Pfeiffer this weekend, I really wish they would have brought her back as Catwoman as well, though, because that could have been something. She still got it, man, dude. She still got it.
Very nice. I haven't seen Michelle Pfeiffer in a while. Must have held it better than that lady from Top Gun. Who was showing that picture next to her next to Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Like, ooh, that didn't work out.
She's the one that actually looks like Wilford Brimley at his age of Cocoon.
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. Doc, you are a cynical bastard. Did this get you in the member berries? Were you excited to see Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck back as Batman?
Yeah, I think so. I'm I liked Batfleck a lot more than I expected to. And of course I love Keaton. He's a Yinzer, so I like him. But
you said Yinzer. Is that supposed to mean something to people?
That means he's from Pittsburgh.
Correct.
Is that like a Yinling thing or something?
No, it's Yinling's on the other side of the state. That's
my area.
Does that mean he's from like the Yingling brewery?
No, it's Yinzer is a slang term for Pittsburgher because
is it derogatory because I'll use it.
A little. I mean, I guess we refer to ourselves as Yinzers, especially anybody with that real heavy.
I'm going to refer to you to that as that fucking Yinzer every time you screw up from now on. And people will know what I mean.
Exactly. It's especially to people that have the real heavy Pittsburgh accent.
No.
Isn't Cuban a Yinzer?
Who?
Cuban.
Mark Cuban? Yeah. He's from
Makes sense.
20 minutes from my house. So yeah.
He wanted to get as far away as he could.
Yeah. Sorry for interrupting the show, but I had never heard the term Yinzer. It's like the time someone told me I got this credenza, as if I knew what the fuck they were talking about. Credenza, huh?
Wes, it's fair. I didn't know what it meant either. I just thought he was referring to himself as like an old fogey. So I was like, sure, Yinzer. I guess that's what the kids call old folks these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nope. It's a term for a Pittsburgher, and it's because we say yins instead of y'all.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Doc.
I like Keaton. I want to have him back. I enjoyed his turn as Vulture in Spider-Man. That was probably the best part of that movie.
He was really good in that. I liked it a lot.
Oh, come on. We're gonna have to really wait though for that Morbius post-credit scene with
Robin time.
Yes. And but no, I guess I'm looking forward to this, except for we have to deal with 2 Ezra Millers in this fucking movie too. They couldn't have at least used like Grant Gustin.
Definitely looks like he's making the Flash. We're gonna have 2 Flashes there, Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2.
And both of them are.
He's going to be 2 of the
Ezra
Flashes,
Miller.
and there might be some more Flashes.
Yeah,
Hopefully, they bring
yeah.
back Michael. Was it John Wesley Shipp?
Yeah.
Who was the original Flash in the TV show?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they pulled him for the current
The
Flash
CW.
TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was the dad. He's great.
He was the dad, and then he was oh god, what was the Silver Age?
The original Flash.
The
yes.
original Flash, the
He was
gold.
Jay Garrett.
Yeah, Jay Garrett. He was Jay Garrett on the show too.
Mhm.
Garrick, not Garrett.
Garrick, yeah, Jay Garrick. No, but I mean, honestly, they've already done kind of a Crisis. They've done a Flashpoint where they've had multiple iterations of the same characters. Honestly, I really wish they would have pulled in more of the CW characters or the CW actors for it, because they were good. A lot of them were significantly better than the movie actors. But hey, look, I don't despise the movie as much as I expected to. Am I gonna probably see it? I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
You're gonna get the promo, Doc. Once Josh is filming at the mouth saying this is the best movie since Black Panther, whatever.
I haven't
The Eternals.
I haven't gone to see. I haven't gone to see the only comic book movie I've seen since Endgame was in the theaters was Spider-Man. Whatever the third.
No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
That was
I was supposed
it.
to see Black Adam, but it never happened. I saw The Strange World.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That was kicking the balls.
I do think that this film is going to do overall. I think it's going to make a ton of money, and I think people are going to really like it. I think
The problem though is if it's really, really successful, James Gunn is going to have to be beholden to bring some of that with him, right? To keep up the goodwill that the DC was established with the movie that's supposed to be like the end cap of the DCEU. So he could be in a rock and a hard place.
They do kind of get caught there because we see what happens with the MCU stuff when they do massive reshoots. Mother or whatever mom, Doctor Strange mom. That was like 80% reshot. Multiverse of Madness. And a lot of people had trouble following that film, rightfully so. So yeah, we see what reshoots do. And so if they're going to do that in the first beginning stages of their franchise, excuse me, yeah, it's going to be tough because then they're going to start going, well, let's see if we can work Batfleck or Keaton Fleck or, all these different, Batman or Flashes or Supergirls into the films. And if they start doing that, it might mess up their stuff because of these reshoots.
Very nice. We've got some super chats. Let's hear from the people. Federico de la Casa from Europe. Hi guys, sure ants are socialist, but they forget to tell you that individuality in insects does not exist. Does not work well for humans. Ants are not socialists. It's a monarchy.
He's referring to Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's a whole scene about
Commies.
No. There's a whole scene where Hank Pym is like, socialism isn't too bad, blah, blah, blah. And he starts talking about ants, and the ants play a key role.
There's a queen ant. It's a monarchy or a dictatorship, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, but these are different ants because they're from the future and
they're highly developed.
I don't want to hear it.
And they're commies.
Do not want to see the movie more. I didn't want to see it.
Yeah.
dirty commies.
They made a movie called Ants, and they were
Dirty commie
doing what they were
ants.
supposed to do, but it's still, Jerry Seinfeld did good, right? That's who
You're
it
going
was.
to see that in one
Or
of
is
those
that Woody
movies. You
Allen?
watch A Bug's Life. It's the
Bug's
superior
Life
ant.
ants.
Yeah, I'd say A Bug's Life.
Yeah, but that's more than one. We don't.
That's what I'm saying. If you watch one, you see A Bug's Life. The only good thing in the Ants movie really is Sylvester Stallone as the mean ant.
Look,
Whatever.
my whole life has been inspired by A Bug's Life. I walk around saying I'm a beautiful little butterfly, and then even though I'm a homo, I act like the ladybug that's all tough. See, it's shaped who I am.
Zach Richmond, I got your back on this one, Doc. The Fast and the Furious movies are awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Is that the word we're going to use?
They did a commercial for that during the Super Bowl too.
Yes, they
right?
did.
It's so bad.
And John Cena.
That looked crazy.
Remember when Dom was just like a street thug that could race cars, and now he's like He's not 007. He's not Superman. He's fucking beyond them when it comes to invincibility.
He's
I have my own whole headcanon about this. That the
I don't want to hear about it, Doc.
Fast and Furious movies are prequels to the Triple X franchise and to the G.I. Joe movies. They end up creating G.I. Joe as a result here.
Hey, if you enjoy the Fast and the Furious movies, just don't tell me they're good. Say you like them, and that's enough.
I never said they're good. I said they're awesome.
Well, Doc's just excited that apparently Brie Larson is playing Paul Walker's sister.
It's true.
That's what I saw. I'm like, oh,
it's so weird. Jason
especially-
Momoa is like, what is going on here? But
well, they're retconning Jason Momoa into Fast 5.
we're beyond that, Doc. Yeah. This isn't a Fast and Furious.
We are never beyond Fast and Furious.
Nebula might be trans in part 3. I've heard like there's some conversation about she's too much like a man.
I think they photoshopped her in the poster or something like that. You know,
she's not human. Up. Like she's not really a person anymore. She's a bunch of parts.
Dude, if you care about Nebula, you aren't watching the movies anyway. Okay, that's not Nebula. All right, that's not Gamora. That's not Thanos. It's none of those characters. Sorry, right. Just want to get a little specific here.
You guys got something to say? Common Sense says this movie is DC's version of No Way Home. I don't care how much nostalgia that movie has. I am not wasting my money on Ezra Miller. Clark swap for Kara. Yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah, I definitely think that they're pulling out the member berries at this one. However, if they do it with a sense of heart, I think it will capture audiences. If they do it just for the sake of doing member berries,
if they use it as a skin suit for something really terrible, people will be pissed.
Yes.
But if they use it as the foundational pieces of the story, like a No Way Home, people will enjoy it.
Yeah.
Kind of
you mean like someone like the Michael Keaton Batman has to hand Ezra Miller something so that he can take it to the next place he's going to see some jerk off and then get that.
I don't want to hear Michael Keaton tell Ezra Miller how great he is.
No.
He should just win.
No. Well, at least a piece of information, as long as it's okay, then he can traipse through all the different DCUs and just get the pieces of the puzzle to put it back together.
Wouldn't it be awesome if he shows up in a cartoon multiverse where all of a sudden, like the Batman the animated series?
Dude, that would be sweet. I would dig that.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Hey, I'll even take
Batman animated.
I'll even take Tyler Hoechlin showing up at this point as Superman. Let him come save the day, and you'll have my money.
That's going to be the thing. Is this Supergirl is going to be bestest as ever? She's going to kill Zod in one punch. She's going to be better than Henry Cavill. They're going to write her better than he was. I'm waiting for that, and it's frustrating, of course, but that's just the nature of where we are with superhero films right now.
Cynical bastard.
I'm sorry. We've seen it too many times now, and it's just pattern of behavior.
I mean, I hope they write her better than they wrote for Henry Cavill. Like, let's just be honest.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But then,
like all of a sudden, wait. So good is what you're saying.
Yeah.
So a good superhero or a good Superman. Yeah.
Damn,
Blade
they
says,
saved all the good. Oh, sorry.
Give me Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 instead. He's excited.
I am too. I'm actually looking forward to that.
I thought the second one sucked.
The second one blew.
Yeah, the second one wasn't my favorite, but
first one's one of my favorite superhero movies.
You have like all these ladies painted in gold. That should be something I like, and I was like, what is this? Yeah. The first one's amazing though. That's like in my top 5 MCU movies. It's probably my top 5.
That's my kids' Star Wars. That's what it was like.
Yeah. What's wrong with your children? Why didn't you show them Star Wars?
Well, I did, but I also, they'd also went and saw Deadpool in the theater. So, they're crazy, these kids, but they love Star Wars as well. They do like the original trilogy.
Your kids couldn't get into Deadpool without you showing your ID saying I'm vouching for him.
Yep.
I'm going to accompany these.
One of my worst moments ever.
Juveniles.
My one son was 6. I ended up, it was a disaster.
Toddler.
I told the guy was there, and he's like, "Oh my God, you know what this is?" I said, "My wife was being a bitch, and she made me take them." I said, "She demanded that I bring them, so the hell with it. Let me in. I hope that it's the worst thing ever. I hope that they are scarred forever, so that I can bring it up all over the time." I mean, that's what it was. And she got mad at me because I said, "Whoa, I can't take them to that. It's not appropriate." "Oh, you just don't want to go." I'm like, "All right, kids, load it up. Get all."
Jimmy like grabs the fucking movie guy. He's like, "Listen, I'm making my point, man."
Yes, I was making a point. I made that point. To this day, I bring it up. I bring it up now. So there you go.
Oh, that's a fucking great
She's yelling
story,
in
man.
the other room right now. She's mad at me.
Federico De La Casa, the James Gunn choices for DC is series is if I started a new MCU with Devil, Dinosaur, and Wolfpack. You could do it. Doesn't mean it will succeed.
I like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs too, but
Well,
the James Gunn comics that he said are inspiring the movies are literally some of the best comics DC has ever produced outside of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow,
and Creature Commandos.
Well, that's not the movie. I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Swamp Thing by Alan Moore, All Star Superman, Batman and Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison, and then The Authority by Warren Ellis.
Yeah,
he didn't exactly go for anything obscure that was debatable at it being good. He didn't pick All Star Batman. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, and I don't know if Iron Man wasn't a good pick for the very first Marvel, when they were kicking that thing off. Yet it was the best thing they could have done, right?
Right.
Well, it's a Denny O'Neil story there. You can't
Well, I mean, it helped.
O'Neil.
But just when I look back at the first time I saw Iron Man drawn by Don Heck, it's trash. It's this big clunky robot. I know the streamlined Iron Man when I go to the comic book store, the liquor store. But realized in a movie, it's like this is a big
worked pretty well.
armor. It was pretty freaking sweet. And from then on, it was like, wow, this is a really, good adaptation of a superhero story.
Yeah.
Of a comic book. So
he went from like C-list
to
to A-list pretty much overnight.
But they also had that proof of concept beforehand with Blade that if you went a little bit more serious, didn't go completely goofy like Batman and Robin, a little bit more like the X-Men 2 movies, you could do something pretty cool with even characters people don't know about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Blade
it's incredible.
Amazing.
It's incredible what cover price is reporting right now for some of these single issue floppies. They're like the prices on some of these things, like Supergirl, Woman for Tomorrow is at like a $40 to $50 price tag right now for a book that came out months ago at $4.99 or whatever it was. So the Gunn is definitely having an effect on some of these issues, and even some of these like it's the Gunn FOMO, it's the DC FOMO. But I do you guys remember that happening with Iron Man? I feel like people watched the film and then went out and hunted for the book.
The MCU wasn't a thing when Iron Man came out. There was no expectations.
Yeah,
let's put it that
way.
People didn't.
Yeah, definitely not beforehand.
Now
now
everyone's kind of predicting what's the next Iron Man.
And
we saw that with
Gunn. James Gunn gave you specific things to go and get as well. So that I think that helped a lot.
Yeah, and we've whatever. You're right. You're 100% right. I'm done.
Thank you. You're right.
I feel
we
like
got the Sultan of Soup himself, Eric O'Sullivan. To be sure, I'm legit looking forward to the Flash more than any MCU offerings. I'm a huge Batman fan, of course. I did. Cheers to the panel and the best weekly comic book talk on the planet. Huzzah! Fucking right,
Excelsior.
man. I like the spunk of that kid. He's got that right can-do attitude. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Are you more excited for this than anything MCU related? Doc, you're an MCU fan, right?
I think so.
More than Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
Yeah, because I hated Guardians of the Galaxy 2 after loving Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Yeah, the first one was so good. What else was coming out from the MCU that's worth looking forward to?
Guys, the Marvels that hasn't been pushed back 3 times. Yeah.
Is that going to be a Disney Plus?
No, it's
Kevin Feige says it's the best movie since the Avengers. For some reason, I don't believe him.
I have a sneaking suspicion the thing that I'm going to be most looking forward to is actually Armor Wars, because they've moved it into a movie, and I'm betting that's where they're going to bring back Tony Stark.
Mm.
He's going to be an AI, isn't he?
I don't think he'll be an AI. I think it'll be Tony somehow still alive somewhere.
He asked for $80 million to come back, though.
I know.
That movie hasn't even started filming, though. I mean, that's way out there.
Yeah. It doesn't matter whether or not it ends up as Robert Downey Jr. I think that they will end up with Tony Stark back. And like our universe is Tony Stark, and that they will make up some story about how, well, the Infinity Gauntlet not actually killing him, it actually put him into some state of metamorphosis and blah blah blah. And it's not what they thought it was. And that's how they'll bring him back, and he'll be different. Even if it's not Robert Downey Jr.
Eric, you are correct. Doc is wrong. This is more exciting than anything the MCU is offering. Phantoms of the Night says, I'm a Pittsburgh native and have never used the term yins. Fight me, Doc.
Well, he can have not used it, but it's still a term commonly used in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I went to West Virginia. The first time a guy from Pittsburgh came up to me, said, yins want to go to In and Out. I thought he was coming on to me, but I ended up where I was like, all right, whatever. I was at college. I was up for anything at that point.
So yins is y'all's version of our y'all.
Yeah. It's y'all. It originated
makes more sense, Doc.
It originated from the Polish population that were like first generation, that they had weird grammar, and they would, when talking to like a large group of people, they would be like, you ones, like you individuals. And then it just kept getting kind of
two youths.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly. same shit. And then it started getting contracted until you ones became yuns that became yens. That's
absolutely.
No.
This stream has been so educational.
What the hell was with the crooked right eye on Keaton's zoom in reveal? That's your reveal, and he looks like a horse kicking him in the head. I thought it looked like he had Bell's palsy.
He was a little cross-eyed, I'm not gonna lie. But then he smirked, and I was like, maybe they're going for it.
Like Anthony Hopkins in that Legends of the Fall. You know what I mean? All of a sudden his face is fucked up.
Maybe he did get kicked in the head. It's all makeup. Clever makeup.
But you were not the only one that noticed, James. I noticed as well. I was like, what the fuck happened to his eye? It was strange. In
Father Time.
Theater, with the new Avatar, threw me off there. Feige has to go. If reshoots gave us the worst conversation on film I have ever heard, Phase 5 is dead. So he's talking about the Modoc stuff that you put into Twitter, I'm assuming, Josh. That was a reshoot?
No. As far as I know, that wasn't part of the reshoots. From what I understand, the reshoots, they changed the ending of the film. I will let you know that. And the reshoots were them changing the ending, but that's...
you said this was a key part of the ending.
Of the climax of the fight. Yes, the clip that I showed is a key part of the fight, but the actual like denouement, the ending of the film, they changed, because what happens at the end wasn't originally what was happening at the end. This is after the clip that I posted. I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to give spoilers. But right. Yeah, I think we have to keep in mind what we're seeing, that because we already know, and I think we're talking about this later. They're making changes. They're slowing things down. They're getting back on track. This is one of those movies that kind of fell into the other Bob's like 2-hour mandate, where they came in and hacked stuff up, changed stuff. I'm curious to see if Feige can get back on track, and if he can't, with these like next year to 2 years of films, I think we're going to see how much other creators played a hand in making the MCU what it was for the first 3 phases.
Very nice.
Ike Perlmutter.
No, absolutely
no.
No.
Criticizing, condemning, and complaining won't fix the DCU. Let's appeal to James Gunn's inner hero. Got that from Dale Carnegie. Well, we don't know that he's got it wrong yet. He hasn't really even started. I don't think he's even written the...
Yeah.
Has he even started writing the Superman movie?
Yeah, he started
he's
writing.
halfway through, he said.
I'm willing to give James Gunn a chance. I think the big thing is Superman will definitely be like the bar, because it's how much can James Gunn pull back from being James Gunn and tell a traditional heroic journey story.
Well, this is only a 10-year plan, but doesn't he have like a 4-year contract?
Oh yeah. By the time the first movie comes out, he's only got a year left in his contract. So like halfway through filming, I assume they'll know if they're going to re-up him or something like that.
I think he's got to have a box office success first.
I mean, in the very least, how about that? But yeah, probably he said it's coming out 2025.
Plus, the rumor has been for quite some time that the Warner Brothers portion of Warner Brothers Discovery will be for sale.
Yep.
And this is kind of all getting things in order to make it more appealing for the sale, to make it more, get more a higher selling price. It's like hopefully Disney buys it, and we'll have everything under Disney.
Yeah.
I hate you.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
And then Disney can buy Netflix, and everything would be
Oh, no.
Supposedly they're getting rid of Hulu, right?
Yes. Yeah, they're actually having to sell stuff, because that Fox deal they made was not smart. Federico de la Casa. Wes, I've watched one of your videos where Aaron Sparrow said about reaching apathy. I agree. Only things I like now are My Hero Academia and Vox Machina. Aaron Sparrow, I think, is in the comments section right now. Great guy. I actually had a video with him that was edited by this dude, and half the people thought it was hilarious. I was one of those, and the other people hated it because there was music.
It was a lot of music.
I love that video.
I thought it was hilarious. It wasn't a serious video. It was just us fucking talking.
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. Josh, did you see it?
I don't know if I remember that.
You would know if you saw it. Trust me.
I don't think I saw it.
Nothing else has ever been on my channel.
Was this Christmas tree up in the background?
It was, yeah.
It was.
I think Wes, that was probably more of a evergreen video, maybe, where it's just kind of the industry in general that you guys were talking about. You've got clips in there. You've got
the death of excitement.
Yes, yeah.
Doc loved it though, huh?
I did. I love that fucking video.
I thought it was fucking hilarious. When he had Lionel dead with the little funeral.
Yes.
Oh, no.
It was fucking hilarious. I could not. Yeah, that was
a little busy. I'll give him that. It was a little too busy, but otherwise it was good.
Dude, I would actually start paying money to see more of your videos like that. It was fucking awesome.
Well, you're gonna see more of my videos like that. You're gonna see at least 10 a month.
Damn.
We struck a deal. The next one should be up tomorrow. I'm sorry I cut you off, MVP. You liked it as well.
I did. I definitely think we could pull back. We could pull back a little
bit much,
but it's a bit much. I felt like I was having a seizure at some points. There were just so many quick cuts. So, but I think the what YouTube likes to push is, I've seen with my videos that I tend to put more time into the editing. I always try and have some sort of background, beats or music or something, maybe some cuts with some funny edits. People tend to be more engaged with those videos. So I think overall it will do fantastic for the channel. But yeah, I did enjoy it. And I think that those will be, like I said, evergreen videos, because they do so well for YouTube. In terms of apathy, I'm right there, man. It's really tough to get excited for some of this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I thought The Flash looked perfectly fine, but I'm not nearly as excited as some other people. Let's put it that way. I'm more of a wait and see approach right now. Layden says, there's a question to you as a retailer. He spent $15 on 3 comics last week. Are we at a breaking point for your subscribers for pricing on comics?
Not my subscribers. Maybe the person walking in, although they don't really ever seem to bat an eye when they come in and pick up something that's like a $7 comic. It's like, oh my God. I'm more embarrassed that I'm selling something so expensive to someone.
All those One Bad Day comics, I think, were $7.
Yeah, they're like $6.99, $7.99. And then, of course, if you get the variant cover, it might be $1 more because it's on card.
Get the card stock.
I might only have the variant cover. There's so much about the price point that's difficult. to like, but mostly Marvel comics are $3.99.
Absolutely.
That feels like a deal these days,
It still feels like a ripoff to me.
It does. But I mean, I can understand, like rents are high. And if you start like dropping things down to $2.50 again, you're losing, $2. You're not spending as much also, but we don't have the volume of customers coming in like we used to also. So you're going to be like, less money. Yeah. You're hoping you can drive people in. I had a kid yesterday. He had 2 Miles Morales comics and he had the 3 issues of Deadly Neighborhood of Spider-Man. And kids with their cash apps these days, right? Didn't have enough for all of them. So he put the Miles back and got the Deadlies because it was 1, 2, and 3. But that was like $15. Yeah, right there. Like you said. The first issue was $4.99. The other ones were $3.99. So again, it's like $15.
Yeah.
Tough.
Common Sense clarifies FP is short for Flashpoint Clark version being swapped for Kara. So she's going to be the Flashpoint Superman.
That Flashpoint Superman sucked. He was all thin and
Sub-Zero,
and stuck in a
playing a guitar.
Yeah, no, he wasn't even that cool.
Annoying people at parties.
Yeah. Oh God!
He was like a government project, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
When you go to a party, which I don't do anymore because I'm too old, but when you go to a party and you would see a guy show up with like a fucking guitar on his
punch
back,
that guy right in the face, right away.
You're not going to play your lame-ass music hoping
punch
to get
him in the
laid
face.
in here, are you?
Yep.
Josh, was that
Belushi and smash that damn thing?
I could see Josh doing that.
No,
I showed up with a tambourine or something.
I will say the apartment that I lived in the longest time in LA, it was like 6 years that I was out there. We had a backyard and there's only 4 units in the building, and we used to throw some like pretty awesome parties. And I did have friends that were in legitimate bands. And we would invite them to come, like, do a little acoustic session.
That's a little different. When the guy shows up with a guitar and then somebody says, hey, man, play something. Oh, man, I don't think I want. Yeah. You brought a guitar to the party, you asshole. That's what you want. Yeah.
My Jeff Jarrett comes out real quick with that.
Yeah.
Who turned off my fucking music?
It's that guy. And then don't ever, invite the philosophy majors either. They're in the corner waxing poetic about nonsense.
No philosophy
empty platitudes.
Yeah.
They can just tell. I will rip them a new asshole.
And then they get high and they're that much worse.
Oh, I was a philosophy minor.
I can tell
that.
Yes. Yeah. I guess we've diagnosed what's wrong with Doc. Big Bird Gang says Devil Dinosaur is a gold mine waiting to happen with the right marketing.
They've messed that up so big. Who likes dinosaurs? And then they put
kids love dinosaurs.
Kids love dinosaurs. Any ones specifically?
Dinosaurus Rex.
Yeah, boys. Boys like dinosaurs.
Boys like dinosaurs.
And so, but boys don't want
all my kids are boys.
I mean, this is horrible. Why would they not want to read a main title with a girl lead? But often they kind of shy away from that. So you're going to take your dinosaur that boys like, and you're going to put it with a girl character. And then let's just say the kid gets past it, or maybe an adult gets past it. And you look at the artwork on the inside. Not bad necessarily, but it's not skewing towards the audience that would want to read a dinosaur comic book. You
mean it doesn't look like Dogman?
Well, I mean, you can have rudimentary illustrations, but I mean, when we're at a Marvel comic book, I would expect to see.
I can tell you right now, my son is 7 years old. He loves Captain America. If I put Captain America in front of him, I put Dogman. He opens up the Dogman cover.
Of course, it's Dog. Well, you can't beat the
He's
best.
never heard of Dogman before I bought it. I bought Captain America first.
Well, it's like
that book is written directly for him.
Well, for sure it is. But I mean, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is all over the place. It doesn't know who it's writing for. The artwork doesn't even know who it's writing for or drawing for.
That's because it's only writing for the writer.
Well,
Doc,
literally,
do you feel represented?
Very corporate.
Doc, do you feel represented if there are heroes from Pittsburgh like Alpha from Marvel Comics, or no one from the Massive Verse, or no one trailer cool as fuck?
Well, not really. I mean, I don't really care. I think it was better whenever Jim Shooter had fucking Pittsburgh as part of the
new universe,
the center of the new universe, because
and when it
again,
exploded,
he was from literally 15 minutes from my house. And but then John Byrne blew up the entire city and turned it into the pit. Whenever
blew it up,
Shooter, yeah, he literally nuked Pittsburgh.
Blow it up.
he nuked Pittsburgh like the minute that Shooter got fired, and turned it into, quote, the pit.
Felt like it was personal, Doc.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit. He doesn't feel represented. Max Santiago, My Hero Academia is on fire. Season 6. Give it a try. Doc, are you sold?
No. I still don't care about manga.
It's fucking X-Men.
It's anime. You don't even have to.
It's the X-Men.
I think Doc would like the anime.
He would love it. It's literally what he's been waiting for.
You don't have to
10
watch
years.
it right to left. You watch it the same way.
Oh,
It's
man,
the
that'd be
reading
cool,
that's
though.
the problem.
Am I going to be able to remember anybody's fucking names?
Absolutely.
Yes,
you were going to fall in love with these characters. You're definitely going to remember All Might.
I've never seen it. Let's not watch it together, Doc.
You guys should
Let's just
watch
fight
it together.
against it.
We can not watch
Old
it together,
hands?
Yole.
I mean, I have all the manga. Like, I've filled it in the store, and it's selling. And for years. I mean, I don't know who was like, just some guy was saying that this is the superhero of manga. Like,
Yes.
usually the thing about manga is it's a food book or it's a post-apocalyptic story or whatever the hell it is. It's not superhero, not actually putting on capes and tights or anything like that. But
One Punch Man,
actually
My Hero
does.
Academia.
Yeah, well, One Punch Man. Yeah, exactly. Also,
Basically Superman.
Kaiju number 8. There's a lot that I think
Well,
Doc might
that's
enjoy.
more of a horror.
I'm
type of
But, I mean,
saying
this
you
is
get
more
to
like
that
horror type
eventually.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just
when
saying
you watch
things
the
Doc
anime,
might
it's
like.
in color. It's acted out. You don't have to read it or anything like that.
Ryan Wilson says $5 for 10 minutes worth of entertainment. That's why comics are losing.
Yep.
I don't.
I think you got a point.
But do you?
Is it
How long do you want to
entertainment?
spend with a comic book? Seriously. Also, we know how much comics
It needs
cost.
to be an impulse buy for the most part until you start getting into trades and maybe some variant covers and stuff like that. You basically cut yourself off from the beginning point of comic book readership. Now they're going from Dogman over to manga, and they're taking a completely different avenue rather than reading some comic books and getting into Batman, Superman, or Marvel or something like that, because it is too expensive. And manga is really cheap. And you know what manga isn't? It's not a goddamn collectible, so I don't care if my kids rip it up.
Sure thing. Yeah. One thing I do hear from parents a lot, whether it be Dogman or manga or whatever it is, that the kids run through I can't get enough of these for the kids. So manga's $10 or more, and they're blowing through that in a day. So 10 minutes, 24 hours. It's not that big a difference.
Difference.
The other thing too is maybe like rereadability. Like if you look at something like anything from Daniel Warren Johnson, you could look at that art for hours. I'll constantly pull out his back issues from Extremity or Murder Falcon or something and reread those, or at least look at the art. Same thing with Echo Lands. I didn't necessarily fall in love with the story, but that J.H. Williams art, I mean, you could look at that for hours and find something new every single time. And those are, I'd say, probably at most $5 books. So I think the rereadability could play into that as well. But and then you have the collectible aspect, and so that most of the time I think you could read
I'm
a
scared
comic.
for my kids to put their dirty hands on my comics.
And that's well, especially with Marvel comics, because it's on toilet paper, so even you turning the page would rip it, and so you're like, oh well.
Kid's got a little bubble gum on his finger. Next thing you know, the comic's in shreds. Ready. And Doc's going, I told you. I'm like, I fucking believe you, man.
Yep.
The paper's not good. Common Sense says Ultra Mega versus Kaiju number 8. Who wins? Ultra Mega is a lot bigger, right?
Ultra Mega.
Yeah, he's like enormous compared to Kaiju number 8. He's the size of a human.
The problem is, I mean, Kaiju number 8 at this point barely knows what he's doing anyway. I mean, it's still developing. So at this point, to get nerdy, Ultra Mega destroys him, in my mind.
Yeah. There we go. Very nice. We settled that one very fast. Thank you to everyone for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. Hope we're having a great conversation. You know, we're trying to have a nice experience like you're in your comic shop. You've got a bunch of dipshits sitting in the corner having a conversation that you want to be a part of. That's basically what we're having here. We did have an interesting comic book article come out. It's from Rob Sokowitz. It's on icv2.com. I'm going to have a video out on it, I believe, on Monday. So I don't want to go too much into my thoughts, but he's talking about the creative rut that superhero comics are in regarding DC and Marvel comics. You're in the industry yourself as a retailer. Was there anything that he pointed out there that you thought, yeah, that's what's really doing it?
There was a lot of different things that were, going around there. It didn't seem like there was anything really super new in there. I'd have to look at it right now as I'm talking to you to really point out specific things. But it's nothing new that we all haven't experienced or said, whether it's a super chat. Not everything is always focused on the things that any one person has, but it is understanding that there's just a lack of. Here's what I really don't like. This guy's saying that there isn't the creative energy at Marvel and DC that there was 10 years ago. Well, most people were bitching about the comics 10 years ago also, or a lot of the things that they were then, realizing were happening all the way then is the stuff that's going on even now. And, you can point out, but what they don't point out all the different people that are bringing in people that are talentless. They don't say anything like that. Are we suggesting that everything was good 10 years ago? Because it really, there was good and then there was bad. And not only that, only pointing out Marvel and DC, there's a malaise at Image and Boom. And I don't care about the next, hey, I got a gun and I'm running down and I'm an old guy that's tired and I'm going to quit, but I get dragged back into this thing, or vampire or horror. Cullen Bunn do a different genre just once. Everybody's not me. I'm doing it different. Mine's a female that's strong and has a personality and is earning their degree, and so what? I'm sick of that too. Sorry, guys.
That's everything Greg Rucka's ever written.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, Greg Rucka's coming out. First thing I'm going to look, is it a female lead?
Is it a female
There's
detective?
no problem with a female. I sound like a hater. I'm sorry. So sorry. It's just I see all the titles on the shelf every week, and I'm taking down more than because I have to put up so much more that next week, and everything is so similar, whether it's Scout or Vault or Oni or Dark Horse, or there's people that I really enjoy, creators that I really enjoy, but even them, sometimes they fall in the trap of just doing a lot of the same stuff they normally do. And I feel like I've rambled enough.
And then that article, it ended up, like you said, it didn't bring up a lot of the problems that have caused that. And to say that 10 years ago, it was better is ridiculous. The problem is it's not just the writers, even though I think a lot of the writers now, like you said, are they not being creative, or is it the companies that are making them write those certain books? But also, not just 10 years ago, but before, I hate the idea that nobody pitches stories anymore. They don't have any sort of passion for what they're writing. They get assigned things, and then they write it as if they were assigned things. And it's just not, I don't know that and it's funny because I do bring up something you and Doc said a while back. I think it was the first time I was on the show. And I said, man, DC has to get better writers. They got to get better. And both of you said, where are they? There aren't other better writers. This is what they got. And the big two especially, why does anybody want to work with them anyway? Because you want to do your own thing. And I think that a lot of times now, these newer writers being assigned books and they're not that great. You also have characters that, what are they going to do new with? They're these established characters that have so much, behind them. And if they do anything different, everybody flips out anyway. And that's why I think one of the things that manga does great is you have new properties. They start at a number one, they go, all of that, but it's somebody's passion and it's somebody working with that, and you don't have that much anymore.
It so much feels like it's just a script. I mean, oh, this was my failed script that I can actually get made, and then eventually it will get optioned because
now even forcing characters into that script. That's a Tom King thing in my mind, specifically, but it's sad. But yeah, the big two are having problems.
I would get writers from like Rucka. I'm slamming him just because of the sameness of a lot of stuff. Or Bendis, is kind of like, there was a time when they were really super popular and new, and what they were doing was special. I like him, but we could go to writing from another source that people are good in. So like, novels and things like that. You got to cultivate somebody, and you just don't start writing I write greeting cards. Well, now I'm going to write comic books. You got to learn a little bit. You got to read the stuff, and you got to care, and it can't just be because you have like a small inkling or a notion of what comic books are all about. You got to the difference between a really good writer from the outside coming in and is like, how much effort are you putting into it? A lot.
Mm-hmm. And even stuff like that Lazarus Planet, like that deal, that they're introducing new characters with stories that they don't even know how to tell a story. A lot of these writers, and you don't even know what the hell you're even reading. Sorry, MVP.
No, you're good, and you guys you're both on the money. And I think one of the things that we're seeing, and this may not necessarily be in a creative space, but one of the things that I think that could probably potentially solve a lot of these issues is financing and distribution. Because if comics were financed and backed by a ton of money, they would have the opportunities to hire better writers or artists, or, you wouldn't be having Alex Ross doing just a cover or the Fantastic Four graphic novel. You'd have him on a monthly series because you could pay him and have a writer that would match him and do a fantastic arc. And so I think the financing comes into it, and then distribution. We're learning right now in my classes that, for marketing and for your analytics, when you're trying to reach a broader audience, if you have a great product that's poorly distributed, you have nothing. And so I think the distribution of these comics, where you can get them, where you can find them, how they're distributed, meaning like whether it's in graphic novel form or floppy form, all that stuff really, really matters to get it into the hands of kids, adults, older readers who haven't collected for like years. So I think that those are probably the two things that I would notice the most, is just the financing and distribution.
I disagree with you on financing, though. I think we've learned that these people don't. And look, a halfway intelligent person, yes. But I think we've learned that these people don't know what they're doing. They don't have a business mindset. They don't know how to run a business. If you give them more financing, you know what you're going to get? You're going to get even more books. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like, that's the unfortunate thing.
Because that's even more books.
Yeah. And with that,
my
they
shelves can't handle it.
Yeah, really. They need to pull the plug on bad stuff and bad writers quicker too. They end up awarding bad writers, and bad writers just end up getting more books. And
I feel like they award bad writers because the writers have probably eventually complained in house that, like, this wasn't my idea.
Yeah,
like, what people hate about it was not me.
I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
it's the editors. The editors are pitching stories, making them do it, and then the writer takes the blame. But a good writer has to be able to take that and make it a good story. I mean, that's what you're there for,
Yeah, I hate writing greeting cards during Christmas time, but I got to get it done.
You got to get it done.
So, Josh,
you missed it. You were gone.
So, Josh, do you think that if they did get financing, but they put it into the editing, like if it started from the top and then started to work its way down, do you think that might change anything? Because I still do think that comics need some sort of backing, because right now they're relying on Big Papa Mouse, on Disney or whatnot. And they're like, we can't fail because we've got Disney backing us. But if they actually had their own branch of like, here's your money that you need to do with it, hire the correct editors. I think if it started with the editors, then it would trickle down and we could see some actual results. But do you think it would still result in just more books and more trash?
Well, back in the day, Denny O'Neil was the Batman editor.
That's crazy.
Marv Wolfman was the Superman editor. They went out there and
Mhm.
hired the best writers possible that they knew could manage teams, and that's when you got great stories.
Yep.
Mhm.
But now you have Jessica Chen. Isn't that the same?
You do not
Jessica Chen story.
see. Here's the thing: you can throw all the money you want at editorial. You're still going to attract terrible. There's nobody that wants to work in this industry that is good. If you were good, you'd work in Hollywood.
I think it's the pay, Doc. If the page rates were commensurate and they were competitive, you would have good people.
You would, but the fact is you can't compete with Hollywood. And that's who they'd be competing with. And honestly, even Hollywood can't get anybody good. Anybody good wants to work for themselves now.
Dude, guys from comics are working in Hollywood.
Yeah,
I know. And the shitty guys from comics are working in Hollywood. The amount of content, of consumable, entertainment out there vastly outpaces the distribution of skill in writing in the world. There's so much content now, so absurd. Guess what? There's not that many creative people, but you need 10 times the creative people that there actually are to create the amount of content there is right now. So guess what? 90% of everyone everywhere is going to be shit.
Man.
Comics need to go back to like every once in a while. Like, there's no problem putting out Moon Girl, but put it out bi-monthly, put it out quarterly. They used to have things that would sit on the shelf for longer because it wasn't important continuity that was going on. They have their summer specials, and that stuff actually sells in the comic store. You can get more of them because people come in and just want to buy something. Granted, the prices are bad, but if we had the same amount of titles that are coming out now, but it was spaced differently, like the Doctor Strange wasn't a monthly, or they didn't pump something up 2 times a month and things like that, I would have more time to sell this Spider-Man issue. And then we're not bitching about the sales being so bad. Well, the sales aren't bad if you just add them all together. I sold this many Spider-Man, but I needed like 30 issues that year to make it happen,
My big point is, if you're going to have the editors, they have the editors writing the stories, right? I've heard this from everybody. Then concentrate, because you can save some money. Get a really good editor that's a writer, and a name or whatnot, and then they're going to be writing parts of 5 stories, and then have these other schmucks, they kind of have their name on it or whatnot, but they need to do something, like get a Belichick Brady types, where people will want to come in and they'll make them better. Like the idea of, hey, you come in, we'll develop you, this person's going to... They don't have that. Like I said, you go down the list of these DC, especially editors, just like, who are these people? And they're the ones writing these shitty stories.
And I think what kind of Wes's point a little bit earlier, I think the reason why we're not seeing a Belichick and a Brady is because they don't have the pay rate that they would want, And so if they were given a pay rate that's like, hey, we need you are our professional, and we need you to kind of mentor these other creators to do what you're doing, and we're going to pay you this. They'd be like, all right, I'm in, and because of that pay rate, I think they would, because everyone has that one thing they're like, whether it's fame or it's money or it's stability, and I think for a lot of these guys, if you offered them a good pay rate, but because comics doesn't have the money to offer them that, I don't think they can bring in those top level creators, which is unfortunate.
Well, and they're losing them more and more just to Substack and create their own stuff anyway.
Yeah.
People would rather just bet on themselves and create for themselves.
I was going to say that, and then also the quality creators that they had, or the quality editors that they had that would take the pay rates that they're giving, they ended up screwing over for fresh new blood that they can bring on a little cheaper. So they're just burning bridges.
Well, they could have like a Peter Tomasi would be great for being an editor. Again, he's a former editor, he's a writer as well, but they screwed him over when Bendis came. They ended up pretty much making him pissed off, and I don't get it.
Yeah, supposedly he had like 2 or 3 more years of Superman stories that he'd already genned up and was ready to do. when they removed the book from it.
I think one of the other things on the article he was talking about was like almost like too much media or oversaturation of the market. Do you guys think, and you might be able to speak to this a little bit more, but like, do you think because like Marvel's releasing like almost 100 titles a month, you know what I mean? That's an exorbitant amount of books that like I can't even fathom. And yet, even if they were to dwindle down like maybe 20 that was directed at like at me and what I'm looking for in like a superhero book, you know, they do like a brutal Wolverine, like a savage, you know, Mark Silvestri Wolverine or something. Like if they really geared like, you know, 20 books for this audience, 20 books for this audience, I think they may be able to cut their product down. But yeah, with that oversaturation of the market, do you feel like it's hard to get those books off the shelf with just this like number of books that like really don't have any purpose or meaning?
Right. Well, you can't have too many Batman books, obviously. But other than that,
35 in a month.
It's just that, hey, look, we had a time when you had more time to buy a comic book. Oh, I didn't get that this week, I'll get it next week, that type of thing. The comic stores would buy accordingly because people will that's how you got people that would buy Marvel and DC. You know, they would buy Marvel, they got all the Marvel stuff, and now they'll go buy a couple DC books, or this is kind of cool. But I mean, Marvel has always put a lot of books out there, but the way they do it now, the more you have of something is very special. You know, it doesn't always, that's where we are with the movies, where we are with comic books. I think the oversaturation of all the streaming services, and now we're seeing the bill add up. Maybe cable wasn't so bad, actually. You know, maybe, but everything has to be now. You know, we can't have a Wizard magazine. We can all pine for a Wizard magazine, but you know you're going to go online and look at the headline of something or a YouTube video, you know, that's telling us what's going on. Rather than waiting for that information to come to us, let us absorb it and then go out, you know, get a real FOMO going. You know, something where I'm really excited for something, and you know, and then go get it. But you know, like Marvel, when they do Marvel Age, they used to advertise Fall of the Mutants months ahead of time. You know, you have time. Now we're advertising an event that's going to happen, and maybe another event that's going to happen after that, and we've got an event happening with another event right on the way. And you don't have time I mean, who amongst us doesn't have comics built up? I'll read those someday. I know I love this person so much working on this comic book so much that I'm going to save it. You're not reading the comic you just said you love the most, and you don't even know if you like it. You know,
the read pile, when it gets up to like 70, you're like, damn.
That's a whole long box.
Maybe. If I try real hard, I can put a big dent in that one.
Yeah.
That's why you got to do the jock thing. You just give up on comic books altogether, apparently.
Well, you know, or, you know, read back issues. There's trades that collect the really good things, and you don't have to worry about all that other stuff.
That's another thing I think is really bad, Yule. Is the trades don't just collect the very best stuff anymore. I think there's a trade for every story that's ever been written in the last 10 years, and you don't even know what's good.
Yeah, they go out of print. I mean, you can tell people all about these really cool Batman storylines that are collected. They just want Dark Knight Returns. They want Year One. And maybe they want, like, you know, Court of Owls, Killing Joke, you know, and that's about it. I try Death of the Maidens by Klaus Janson and Greg Rucka. It's the death of Ra's al Ghul. It's so freaking good. I can barely sell it.
So it's the death of Ra's al Ghul, and where do we see him?
Well, he comes back. Of course, but
every character's like they've done so many little tricks in there where they killing a character means nothing anymore. Debuting a character really doesn't mean anything because you know it's just going to be a derivative of a character that already exists. Like how many different Spider-Man comic books can we have? We got Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man. Like,
are you leading into that Spider-Verse thing right now?
No, I'm just saying.
It's a good segue, by the way.
It gets a bit much after a while. Like you can only have so many different versions of all these characters, but it's kind of where we are.
It's that fantastic quote. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Yule.
No, I'm done. Sorry.
It's that fantastic quote from The Incredibles when what's his name says, if everyone is special, then no one is. It's that kind of like if every Spider-Man book means something, or if now we have families of Spider-Man, and it's like then Spider-Man himself, Peter Parker, is not special, and we see that with a lot of different characters.
Welcome.
Yeah, I mean, the
Grand
Flash used to be
Solution.
special because it was an accident. He had some chemicals on him. He got hit by lightning. Next thing you know, he's got speed powers.
Yeah.
It seems like that should only happen once in a lifetime or once ever in history. Same thing with being bitten by a radioactive spider.
Yeah, you would think. No, apparently we got like thousands of radioactive spiders around New York. Who knew?
Pure brand dilution.
Absolutely. We do have some comments from the viewers. Terrence Bernard says, it's like cancer. 10 years ago, it was a small lump of problems, and people know that it's actually grown terminal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I still don't think people are recognizing it though.
We've got somewhere between 1 and 30 years.
I think comics will go on forever in some form, but
I think people are recognizing it, and you're now seeing
Rob
even the
Salkowitz is
chill-
not exactly the harshest critic of the industry, and he wrote the article.
Yeah. There's a lot of shill media out there that's starting because it's reached the point where it's no longer able to be ignored. It's
the last story they can write, Doc.
exactly.
Marvel already did the end. Why even bother?
The final conflict for Sherlock Holmes?
Exactly.
I got nothing left to write.
I think the industry and even the shill press and whatnot, I think they're realizing it now, because before it was, oh my God, I hate this, and they could kind of fight back against that. Oh, they hate it because of this, but at least now everybody's just, it's like you said, malaise, it's indifference, and you can't really argue with that. If people are just like, I don't really care anymore, that's just the worst thing ever, and that's what's happening now.
Apathy is definitely the death.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'll just say comic tropes, or sorry, not comic tropes, comic Drake and Comic Storian both have videos out and posts that are like, comics are still doing better than ever, and they have millions of subscribers. So I think you could say that maybe shill media, Doc, like you were talking about, but I still see people every single day that say that comics have never been better.
But yet none of them are buying comics and reading them. And,
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Dark Admiral March, he got Marvel Milestone's Brother Voodoo as a Valentine's Day gift. Remember, there's plenty to go back and discover. Bronze Age has a lot of hidden gems.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Copper Age that's hot right now, Doc. Did he leave?
Oh yeah, Copper Age has been hot for. No, I'm here.
Did he leave? Oh yeah.
And the sad thing is, like, Doc is the representative of the sad point of this. Doc didn't give up comics. He gave up new comics. He's still a comic book fan. I don't want to speak for Yins here, but you end up where, if something did change, I mean, I'm sure Doc would be back if there was something really good to read that isn't just Wes making him read the shittiest things out there.
I made him read Sin Sinister. That was a good book.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said,
to be a good book.
Doc's not here saying he's never reading a comic again. And when you do talk to people, they do say, well, we have all the back issues, all that stuff. So people want good stuff. We just have to go back to get it. It's just not now. And it's frustrating. And that's the problem is, how are you making new fans then? Yeah. Because the shit sucks right now. You're not going to get new fans. They're reading Dogman and manga is what's happening. And before, I remember when people would, yell about manga because it seemed like this evil thing that was coming in, and that's such a niche thing. Now it's the mainstream. Yeah, it is, and there's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Daniel Beatty says, "I miss Shooter. L versus Batman, better detective." The answer is Joe Mullins, the multiverse's greatest detective. He's even better than Batman.
JoJo Mullins.
Her fine ass. She's number one, but if you got to go between that one, it's Batman because he's the world's greatest detective. right?
Although
he doesn't do much detective work these days.
No.
House is
He's
the
too
world's
busy
greatest
flying in.
detective.
Yeah, flying in through Earth's atmosphere and surviving, and falling off like 10-story buildings and surviving. And
he is the Bat God now. Common Sense says feels most new heroes are just placeholders rather than passion, like Xanthi and Alyssa Wong's Les and Constantine. Just make Xanthi better, even May Solicit Frags. Is he talking about the character in
Yes,
Spirit World?
Spirit World. That was her name?
Yeah. Xanthi,
yeah.
Okay.
But
Doc's already mad at that name.
I can't pronounce it. Fuck it. I'm never gonna remember it.
There you go. Damn
I
it.
will never remember that name.
Yeah.
So good job. You just created a name that no one on the planet is going to remember.
That's a good art.
That's great for brand recognition with a name you can't remember. Good job.
Which
sounds brilliant. This is in
Lazarus Planetarian.
Dark Fate.
Dark.
Yeah, you didn't rate it.
Everything that has the subtitle of Dark Fate is shit. Terminator,
Lazarus
Dark
Planet.
Fate.
Oh,
Dark
yeah.
Fate,
Right.
Dark Fate.
What if it's a fate, but like a party? FETE. Fet. Dark Fate.
Like a fate.
Is that okay then?
That'd be okay.
I,
It happens at night. That's why it's dark.
Yeah, so
Dallas Moderman says video game consoles had the crash in 1983, but rebounded with the NES. Will this be remembered as the American comic book crash of 2023? And what will be the rebound?
No, that was in 1998.
Well, we're going through some similar things right now, Doc. I think we're seeing the beginning stages.
Except for there's none of the potential that hadn't been realized.
That's
that
what's
exists
the worrisome
in
thing.
Yeah, this is the end stage of.
Well,
I mean,
the problem is there's so many alternatives right now.
Correct.
That makes everything dangerous because of the wide accessibility and acceptance of manga. But you also have great creators doing their own thing outside of the scope of the direct market and mainstream publishers and stuff like that. So it's completely different than what we saw, in the 90s.
If the big two really wanted to have a rebound and a course correction, they would go with 5 books each and try to sell 1 million copies every month by trying to get it into
DC
everywhere
Rebirth was
they
only a few
possibly
years
can.
ago.
Doesn't
People were
matter.
excited for that. House of X Powers of 10 was only a few years ago, and that rejuvenated X-Men. It just so happens they dropped the ball immediately.
It rejuvenated interest, did not grow readership. None of these.
Well, it never had a chance, Doc.
They ended up
so fast.
screwing it over.
I understand that. They fuck it up too fast.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem, though, is I think when those things came out, people were hoping for a long-term answer, and it ended up not being a long-term answer. It was just another here, you get this for a year, and okay, we're going to essentially go back to what we were doing. And I think this long-term mindset is gone from the business, and fans are tired of giving the business or the industry the benefit of the doubt.
We have for 10 years. We've given them the benefit of the doubt for 10 years.
That's my point, though.
Yeah. And the way that I keep describing it is it's a trust fund kid that inherited its money. It had all this audience goodwill and an existing audience and everything. And then it's literally just been spending that bank account. It's at zero.
That bank account was goodwill.
Yeah, it was the goodwill and the repeat business, the not reconsidering our purchase of the audience, of the readership. And they have spent it, and they keep any sort of investments that were in there, they burned out and turned to cash, and then they kept spending, and now there's no way to refill that bank account.
No.
Billy Powermax has an interesting story here, Yule. He said, my shop said I was a bigot.
Ooh.
And I told them that as a grown man, if all I wanted out of my comics were teenage boys making out and more, what would that say about me?
Well, I would have never said. I mean, I don't know. I don't use that word do that stuff. If we were having a conversation and I knew you and, you know, that kind of things came out, like if you led with that, I might be a little, maybe I don't want to talk to that person, but I wouldn't like be all crazy about it. What does that say about you? I mean, hey, that's what you don't want to read. Whatever, you know, I mean, that's what it says. There's people that don't like science fiction comics. You know,
those people are stupid though.
I mean, the thing is though, is that like, if you say all comics are like this, so like a lot of times I will paint the broad brush, you know, crazy broad brush strokes. And I'll say something, but then I'm looking over the, you know, the shelves, and it's not as you're focusing on the thing that you don't like, and you know, there's other things that are out there. That's the one thing I have a problem when people. I don't like comics. They don't do anything. You can read the
Flash. It's completely
there's something
different.
exactly. There's a Flash. You don't like superheroes or something else, and they're straight and gay, and it does. You know, there's historical stuff. I just did I sold a Box Brown Putin book. You know, they're out there, historical stuff, nice. You know, so there's always something cool.
Billy, Josh has a question. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, Billy, are you on the left coast based on the other comments you're putting?
Where are you? Yeah, where are you saying that?
Look, comic shops don't have the ability right now to be calling people bigots and flushing their customers away. And I saw that your other shop is 2 hours away. Man, there are online shops. I don't know if Yole ships, but
I ship.
Right there. Go to Yole, dude. Just go to Yole.
I mean, you know, it just depends on when you say that stuff to people, you know, and how they're feeling also. You know, everybody's different in a different day.
They might be frustrated too with hearing that a lot and not selling as many comics. So,
dude, I hate knowing that I bought something that nobody likes.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that's the worst thing. Why did I buy it?
Skip says, so are we in the postmodern now, 2015 to the present?
Well, technically, I guess postmodernism happened a while ago.
No, but I think that's a fair characteristic. I mean, we're always in whatever age we're in is the modern age. Currently, whatever your current, because that's just the way it works. They don't get renamed until retroactively. When it was 1945, you were in the golden age.
I forgot Doc is really into this conversation. It's going to take a long time. Doc explains this through the years.
This is not worth $1.99. Is
right. But yeah, I would say that, you know, 20 years from now, we'll look at this as the postmodern era, and it'll be the death of comics as they were. There'll be something. There'll be something that exists. There'll be something that it exists, but you know, as long as
there are some independent people doing stuff that you don't know about, and it's fucking amazing. You got to get on their Patreons and stuff like that, and just know where they are. And it sucks when you find out about it, and you're like, "Damn, I really wanted that."
Exactly. Got on the Peak Rabbit bandwagon a year ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everett Todd says, "Read Delilah Dirk by Tony Cliff." Was that a good pick? I haven't heard of that one.
I've never read Delilah Dirk, but I think that's like an all ages title, if I remember correctly.
I'm reading Dahlia in the Dark.
That's a different person. Dahlia in the Dark is not for kids.
No. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good action book. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Well, thank you very much to everyone for supporting the channel. Let's go over and talk about Disney slowing down MCU's Phase 5. We don't even know when we're going to be getting the next, what is it? The Ironheart show, the Echo show, which I don't know why they made. They've already delayed the Marvels again, Josh. You are the biggest MCU shield that we know. You are the supporter. You're the one that called Eternals a great movie. You said Wakanda Forever was the good film of 2022.
I heard him call it a triumph. Yeah.
I like Wakanda Forever. I'll die on that hill. I'm okay with it.
Feel good?
Yeah, look, this is and people like to give me crap when I say, you know, like
I love giving you crap.
Of course. But people like to give me crap when I try to defend Kevin Feige This is part of the reason we have too much stuff coming out. And that wasn't a Kevin Feige thing. That was 100% a Bob Chapek thing because he wanted a certain amount of content, especially for Disney Plus. And there's a point where you can only handle so much. And all the way through Marvel, Kevin Feige has been the sole executive producer. And then starting with Phase 4, he's got other producers and executive producers. So his hands aren't controlling things like they used to. They have to slow down. And we're seeing this across the board. They're not getting their scripts written. They're not finishing their CGI. They're not having things developed and worked like they should. And then you have, the past 2 years and how you have to film things, and that creates different obstacles and opportunities. But they've got to slow down. And the thing that blows my mind is I see so many fans that are like, they need to slow down. It's shit. The quality's gone downhill. And the moment they talk about delaying something, they all bitch and moan. Like, pick a lane.
Great. They need to be delaying more.
Yeah. Like,
they should cancel Echo. I don't care if they fucking filmed it. There's no reason that show needs to exist. That actor sucks. The character isn't interesting. If you have to have Daredevil and Kingpin carry the show, they've already got their own show.
Spoken like a true white colonist. Gosh.
Jeez. Colonizer.
What about Agatha Harkness, guys? Don't we all want to watch Agatha Harkness and Echo?
Yeah, no one never asked for that.
These are the young days of Agatha Harkness.
They were
not the grandmother.
The novelty of that character was like one post-credit scene. That's it.
It never existed, Doc. There was never any novelty to the character.
That
There's only questions of why.
I loved her as Agatha. I don't want a series, but I loved her as Agatha Harkness.
Yeah, exactly. That was fine as a guest.
Yeah, but this is my point. Disney was requiring so much content. Chapek was requiring so much content that they were having to pull whatever they could, because with Marvel,
where's
especially,
my Nightcrawler series? At least get a good character out of it.
No, fair, but they can't do that until 2025. So, unless they're going to use the old actor, which is why you're seeing these actors come back and you're not seeing the X-Men come in as early. Like, those contracts are in place. Even though they have the ownership to the Fox and those rights, contractually, they have to pull those actors until 2025. So, but I'm sure when we get to X-Men, I'm sure you will see stuff like that. I'm sure you'll see those supporting characters.
Well, I'm going to be upset about it then. I'll tell you that right now. No one asked for a Nightcrawler series. I never did. That's my stance.
Do we not like Nightcrawler? I think
I'm joking. That was my stance then.
Oh, gotcha.
Of course I'll be excited for a Nightcrawler series.
Heck, if they do it right, Marvel hell character. Yeah. But they need to slow down and fucking fire these Rick and Morty writers. Jesus Christ, they cannot craft a story
too
to
much
save their
robot
life.
Chicken stuff.
Like,
in this,
if you want to have a little 22-minute episode that doesn't really have story structure because your whole purpose is ham-fisted jokes, fine. But when you're doing a 2-hour film and that's all the 2-hour film is, like, fuck off.
Man,
a lot of it too, I think. Oh God. Do you think a lot of it too is like that Joss Whedon humor too that started with Avengers that worked for that?
Guardians of the Galaxy and James Gunn killed humor in the MCU.
Yeah. So everyone likes anytime. Yeah, anytime someone sees humor in random spots, they like to throw it on Joss Whedon because Joss Whedon kind of created that trend. However, there are good ways of doing it and bad ways of doing it. Joss Whedon, for the most part, could do it incredibly well, but he also made a point that if he injected humor, there was still a purpose to it. So you'd have humor, but it still either developed the character or it developed the plot in some way. Now people it's like, hey, let's throw something random in because that's funny. And it's not funny. It's stupid. There's a whole thing in this new AntMan movie with a character that doesn't have holes and obsessed with people with holes. So he's going around asking human-looking people, how many holes do you have? How many holes do you have? How many holes do you have? I want holes. Like, it's fucking weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I didn't mean to say that the Joss Whedon humor is bad because, like you said, originally when it was first introduced, same thing with the James Gunn humor in Guardians. Like it had a specific place within the script, either to bring levity or to develop the characters more, or to have some sort of scale within the film. But like you said, now it feels like it's interjected because they just have to meet a quota. They're going, okay, let's just put it here, let's put one here and here. Yeah, and they just really have
Why
no
am I not
purpose
laughing?
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think that's what's killing it. But no, I do think that done right, I mean, anything done right the correct way as it was intended to be to develop those characters, that there's a purpose for it. But now they've lost the purpose because I feel like executives see the wrong things, like Top Gun Maverick, instead of seeing, oh, this was a great film that was made, they're going to see, oh, it's a sequel or it's a prequel or whatever. And they're going to take that information. And they take the wrong information from successes. And I think that's what's happening a lot of the times.
Completely agree.
But yeah, they definitely needed to slow it down. There's way too much stuff coming out, Jim. I mean, you've got kids. This is what they're supposed to be going for, right? Your boys are all pretty young men.
Yeah.
They can't keep up with it. And then you got got the mobile games always coming out. You have video games.
Yeah, they could care less. They could care less. It's too much, and it's not good. And I just want to know how many holes Josh has, is what I've been wondering this whole time. But with that, you end up with... even that, though. And, yes, really. And no, my kids, at one point, they were excited about stuff like this, and Marvel specifically, and they would say, oh, my God, Dad, we got to go see this. I mean, now maybe they just don't like me anymore, but they're not interested. There's also other things.
You're the man that took them to see Daredevil when they were 5 years.
Daredevil. I wish it
Deadpool
was
when
Daredevil.
they were 5 years old. They probably love you. You're the guy that introduced them to the F word.
I mean, but what do I do now? What are we? We're going to
what
go
else
to
was
the
in there? There's a lot of
adult
butt sex in that movie.
No, there was a lot. I'm telling you, and at one point, I was trying to cover up my son's eyes, my youngest son, and then I was screw it. What am I going to do? I went with that idea of, well, they'll learn this eventually. Maybe 15 years from now, but they'll learn it eventually. But no, they were excited when they saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and I say that was their Star Wars experience was just because they were that age when it came out, as and it ended up where they were when we got out of that, they couldn't stop talking about it on the way home. They were so excited. They wanted to know. And it was one of those little kid things, like, when are we going to get the next one? Like right then, they were all excited. Then we kind of saw some of the other things. And now it's at a point where even when I tell them, oh, this is streaming now, you can watch it. And they're like, well, maybe we'll get to it. And they never get to it. And yeah, it's sad because they want to like this stuff. It's just, like you said, there's too much, and they really are getting sick of that robot chicken type writing as well. And when my kids can figure that out, there's, trouble because they love like toilet humor, stuff like that. But you need
Did you see they're moving forward with that Taika Waititi Star Wars movie?
Yeah. Nonsense.
I can't imagine a worse fit ever.
Yeah.
I think
maybe James Gunn.
I think you
maybe.
Yeah.
I think you bring up a good point, brother, is that, your kids were asking in the car, like, when are we going to get the next one?
Yeah.
Josh, I remember you had talked on one of my streams a while ago, and you were saying how it's so difficult for Disney Marvel right now to bring kids from the theaters into the comic books, because to tell a kid, hey, read this comic, did you enjoy it? Well, you're not going to get another one for another month. For a kid that's like years. It won't finish the
story, yeah.
And so it's so difficult, especially in an age when instant gratification and TikTok is just, we're talking seconds. It's really difficult to get that kind of patient reader that is well thought out and wants to take the time and the effort to read something and enjoy it for what it is for a month. I don't know if we have that opportunity. And so I think that's another difficult thing with these Marvel phases is they're trying to get this younger audience, but a lot of the younger audience doesn't even want to read the comics, let alone watch the films anymore.
Man, and manga coming out each week is one of the things. It's banned. No more dance.
Yes, that and shorts on YouTube.
You're the John Lithgow of the Philippines. No, it's what you are.
Fuck that. Have you ever seen those things? It's just like it was frying my son's mind. He's only 7. He can't take that crap. It's like, what are we going to do? We're going to make glow-in-the-dark sandwiches. Boom. It's like, glow-in-the-dark sandwiches? Get the fuck out of here. We can't. No.
You're against glow-in-the-dark sandwiches.
That's what Fatal J's doing on his shorts. You know what I mean? He's all about YouTube shorts now. Making glow-in-the-dark breakfast burritos.
Glow in the dark breakfast burritos.
I'm sorry,
pretty
Jim.
funny.
I interrupted you for my little rant on TikTok, which I'm pissed off about. Jim, if I was Jim, I would make him watch TikTok nonstop, and then I would tell my wife, "It's your fault."
That's what I do. No, actually, I'm working on I'm going to eat oops all berries, and we'll see what color my crap changes. That's my new video. I'm going to do it later today. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take over TikTok. Yeah, there's nonsense. But again, that's where my kids also sit there and say, I'm going to be a TikToker when I grow up. I'm like, no, you're not. You're going to get a job. Get out of here.
You're going to contribute to society in
this
house.
Yeah, really. I'm going to slap you upside the head with my glow-in-the-dark hand right up in your face.
Exactly. You should make a video. Today we're making glow-in-the-dark hands.
Today we're making glow-in-the-dark handprints on your fucking face.
I'm going to show you how it used to be.
I got this lady from YouTube keeps contacting me and what my YouTube short strategy is going to be. My YouTube short strategy is I hate them and I want nothing to do with them. And I'll let 12-year-olds make YouTube shorts and I'll do real videos. How's that?
Yeah.
I haven't said that to her because I'm not rude enough, but I should. Well,
you can forward her to me. I'll tell her.
Josh, I'll say, excuse me, this is my YouTube Shorts strategist. He's giving me all his tips. He'll actually talk to you about this.
He's your marketing manager. Yeah.
Yes, I
am the channel mascot.
Doc will be like, fuck off. Is that short enough for you?
Yes. Do you have anything else to say about the MCU Phase 5 slowing down?
The only thing I would say is just, hopefully this is a good sign. Hopefully it's a sign that we're going to get back to quality content. Keep in mind that the projects that are already slated to come out, you're not going to see a change that soon. Hope for the best, but no, it's going to take a little while. But I think at the end of the day, we want these things to do well, but we also want them to be, somewhat in line with the comics themselves.
Ideator says Eternals wasn't bad. There's entirely too much glut coming from a company who is creatively bankrupt, have been for years. Also, their agenda is bad.
Yeah.
It's terrible. He's on the bandwagon with Josh. Eternals is good, huh? Well, you said Eternals was great.
Yes. I said the cinematography was great because you filmed in real locations. I could have made Eternals a great film if I had it 2 films.
There you go. Robinson says, Ironheart is delayed. What does that mean for the Hood? Marvel is supposed to read the trade saga of Parker Robbins and saga Riri to promote the show. Hopefully it means it never happens. I don't know.
I think Ironheart will most likely happen because it's setting up other things. I'll just put it that way. But not for the sake of setup. Like, huh?
No one will watch.
Well, more mystical stuff. So
all they'll do is request the rights to the Japanese porn version, and then they'll do Disney Plus Adult, and it'll be a Disney Plus Adult. So,
Gobbin Sense also says, "I'm scared that the MCU is going to do to the Hood. It's bad enough that Kevin Feige brought Scar to the MCU, and they massacred my boy with that haircut. Man, fans of Scar really did not like that.
It was terrible, dude."
Are you scared about what they're going to do to the Hood, Doc?
I mean, the Hood's kind of a mediocre villain, so
don't say that. They're going to. He's going to freak out. This is a character.
I mean, I like the Hood enough. I think he's an interesting character. I just don't think that anybody's ever really. I mean, outside of Bendis, nobody's ever really used him because
there you go. Nothing to ruin.
There's not much to ruin.
The Hood.
We do have to say goodbye to one of our esteemed panel members, MVP.
Yes, unfortunately.
You're going to say goodbye to us. You've mentioned a couple times that you're doing live streams. Is this happening weekly? Is it happening monthly? Is it a set schedule? What are you doing?
Normally we trade off with the guys over at Comics Elite. So Drew and Kyle, they do like a weekly comic wrap up on Friday evenings. And so what we'll do is we'll have 1 week on the Comics Elite channel and then 1 week on my channel. So like sometimes we'll have Aaron Sparrow, we'll have Josh over there, we'll have, like I said, Drew and Kyle. So it's a lot of fun, and we just talk about the comics that we've read for that week, and we go into them a little bit more in detail. Sometimes we go over articles and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a pleasure to have those guys on there because they're just a plethora of knowledge. So yeah, it's always fun. But yeah, thank you again for having me, brother. It's always a pleasure to be on here. Yeah, it's you know, getting this kind of information.
Is not how I'd ever describe Drew.
What
are you doing?
Maybe let's see. He's pretty well versed on some of his comic and more so even his movie stuff. He's a cinephile. Yeah,
I used to be. I had to drop out. Now I got so many kids, ain't got time for it. Do you have any comic book recommendations for the week?
I would say the 2 books that came out this week by Mark Miller are fantastic. Nemesis Reloaded and Nightclub. I think it's both fantastic. I think overall my favorite book right now that's coming out monthly is Batman Deadly Duo, Batman Joker Deadly Duo, that or World's Finest, but we know that creative team is going to go over to Shazam. So yeah, I would highly recommend those books, but yeah, I think that's about it for now. It's really tough. It's tough to find some books that are really sticking out right now for monthly comics, but I think anything Mark Millar does, and then the Batman Deadly Duo, Mark Silvestri, and World's Finest. So.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. We'll move on to this final topic. We'll get to Quantumania. Thank you very much to Frank Zanka for supporting the channel. He saw Quantumania last night. It felt more like a Fantastic Four movie. Modoc was awful. Kang was disappointing, and Evangeline Lilly looked like a 12-year-old boy. Man, movie. Yeah. What's up with their haircut, Josh? How do you make Evangeline Lilly not look amazing?
Yeah, you know, I don't know, because the weird thing is I get some people don't like women with short hair, fine, whatever. But we've seen her in plenty of things outside of the film with her short hair, and she looks good. So I don't know how they screwed this up so bad. I think they're trying to go comics accurate, or maybe she was just sick of long hair, who knows? But
she looked like Shemp.
Yeah, they didn't give Evangeline Lilly much of anything in this movie. So
you mean from the Three Stooges, Shemp?
Yeah. Maybe it's Mo.
Whatever. The ugliest stooge.
Yeah, she has a stupid bowl cut. It's like, what are you doing to my girl here?
Shemp's
that was rough.
So
you
I'll
watched
let you guys...
the movie and you liked it more than most people, Josh.
Sure.
I'll let Josh shill for the film.
There we go.
So I'll bounce because I'll ruin it for him. So
bye, Max.
This is what we got to finish.
All your Max.
Notes. Great to see you guys again, and have a great rest of the week. I'll talk to y'all soon.
For sure.
Brother.
Bye. No, I think Frank is completely right here. It felt more like a Fantastic Four movie than a Modoc movie. You know, I mentioned earlier, the CGI actually looked pretty decent as far as the world and the background. It looked good. I had issues with Peyton Reed's directing because there are multiple scenes where there's shit going on, and you can tell the actors aren't even aware that stuff's going on around them. So that bugged the hell out of me. Modoc is terrible. And I see a lot of people defending, like, he's supposed to be weird. He's supposed to be this. It's not freaking Modoc, man. Like, it's bad.
But he was always going to be bad. Why'd they even try it?
I don't know. And the CGI for him is also bad too. Like the rendering was terrible. And I get he's supposed to look weird. He's supposed to look bad, but it looked like they failed in making him look bad.
Did he look worse than Krang from that TMNT movie that Michael Bay did?
Yeah, I never saw that. Sorry.
From the one shot that was on Twitter, he looked like the wizard from fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Damn. Like the TV show in the 90s.
Yeah, it was bad. Bryan
Cranston?
I don't know. The fucking wizard guy that was always up on the wall.
Zordon.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It was like the ratio was not correct, and I don't know. But look, in general speaking, this movie has the same problem that some of the previous movies have had. There is no story structure. The entire 2-hour movie is basically like a rescue scene with a shit ton of humor. It's more like a comedy with some action in it, as opposed to an action movie with some comedy in it. I thought Kang was solid. Like, I actually liked Jonathan Majors, but they undercut him terribly in the end. And I don't want to say what happens, but
spoil it. Just spoil it.
No, don't do it.
Yeah,
spoil me, bitch. Spoil me hard.
All right, go for it. I don't care.
Are we
Don't
gonna
do
go?
it. I'm just joking.
Oh,
I don't
I was like,
say
oh,
that.
God,
It's
don't
crazy.
do it. No, don't do it.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be the bad devil on your shoulder. You're not supposed to listen to me.
I don't know. I feel like listening.
We'll talk about it after the stream.
So
People
much.
get upset.
I think we'll all agree that the Ant-Man movies haven't been the best movies in the MCU, but I think
The first one was entertaining, though.
I can't
agree.
believe I
different.
liked the first
Like a
one.
really cool heist movie.
But
Yeah.
I think
Michael Payne was
that's my point
hilarious.
too. I think there are elements of the Ant-Man movies that, generally speaking, people liked. Those elements are nowhere to be found here.
Sure.
They try to throw it in like the first 5 minutes of this movie, and you get like maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes of them actually being on Earth in San Francisco, and then you jump straight into the quantum realm, and it's like just a bunch of nothing happens.
Look, they got lucky in that first one, and everything I said about Iron Man, being a good choice. Ant-Man overall is not a good choice ever to keep, doing things with. You got lucky on the first one. Don't keep doing it. And
Yeah.
Paul Rudd's a
Whatever.
really likable guy, but I
yeah,
don't even want to stay with him. And
I
he's
like
a
him when
Chiefs fan.
he joins in, in the Avengers movie or something. It's like, oh, he's that guy, and he's bringing his ants with him. That's cool. But that's all
Jim-
Hank Pym has ever been, or whoever he's playing.
Jim, did you see that Paul Rudd was on the Chiefs sideline during the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I don't like him anymore. I Bradley Cooper all the way, 100%. That's what I'm
Bradley
going with.
Cooper.
Yeah. I saw Paul Rudd. I like Paul Rudd. You can't hate the guy, but he was pushing it there. He was.
He's from Kansas City.
Yeah, I know. No,
So was
there you
the
go.
big fat guy from Modern Family, Eric Stonestreet.
Yeah.
We're always on the Chiefs sideline. That was amazing, wasn't it?
Awesome.
It was amazing.
So awesome. I saw people were upset because Patrick Mahomes said ass afterwards. They were giving him crap. I'm like, really?
I don't know.
Well,
I saw
he's
him
a-
at the parade and he was completely blitzed. So
He was
I don't think
hammered.
he cares.
But, yeah, I don't think he does.
He
either,
actually
but-
gave the trophy to somebody and walked
Yeah,
away.
I know, he walked away. See, that was fun. I actually watched a bunch of that, and I was laughing. I thought it
Shockingly,
was
he's from
hilarious.
fucking Bumblefuck, Texas, where
That's
Josh
right.
is from.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Hometown boy there.
Bumblefuck County, Texas.
That's right.
Home of Mahomes and Josh.
Mahomes
that
and me.
was good stuff. So you weren't enamored with the film.
No, not at all. Not at all.
And this is the start of phase 5, right?
It's a terrible start for Phase 5. It's a terrible start for Kang. And that's all I'm going to say. As much as I liked Jonathan Majors as Kang, and there are great scenes here. There are great scenes with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jonathan Majors where they have interactions, and it was what I wanted to see from Kang. So there was a point, probably a third of the way through this movie, where I was like, "Holy shit, this is excellent!" And then it just completely falls apart. Like it just everything that it had going for it that was good just gets wasted. So
So are you recommending people wait for Disney Plus?
absolutely. Because if you continue to see stuff like this, you're only going to push, Disney to keep making stuff.
You're only
like
going to
this.
reward their failure in that
Yeah,
episode?
yeah.
And we'll
So-
get another Fast and the Furious franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever
Yeah.
see that interview where Vin Diesel was like, Fast and the Furious was always intended to be a 9-part story. You just
Oh,
can't tell
God.
the whole story without 9 full movies. Like, you are so full of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a good thing Doc isn't here. He would have lost his little
They
mind.
addressed that one guy dying, right? In the movie.
Han, he's back. Apparently he didn't get blown up.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't. I mean, I know so very little. I mean, I just know an actor died.
Han.
Han
you're talking
Solo.
about.
I think it's talking about Paul
He's
Walker.
talking about Paul Walker.
Yeah. We're
Oh, I thought he was
Walker,
talking about the
very
Asian
good.
actor that came back in the movie.
Oh no,
That
no,
died
no.
in the movie and then he came back.
Well, I mean, the
Like,
real
he
life
didn't
guy
die.
that died.
Paul Walker.
That'd
They
be Paul
CGI'd
Walker.
him in the film and he
They
drove
addressed
away.
him dying, right?
No.
Yeah, they
Oh, they
No,
did or
they
they did?
did?
I assume they did.
They
I heard,
did.
I
They
thought
sort
they-
of did
they-
in 7.
So then that's a lie, is what you're saying about Vin Diesel. They did not plan on that guy dying.
They didn't plan on this
Exactly.
thing ever being a 9-part like epic
Exactly.
story. No.
Conspiracy.
And
hell,
hell,
one
the
of-
first movie would be
Bullshit.
successful.
It's
What
10,
is-
it's 10 movies now.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. He was full of shit when he said it. It's clearly full of crap now that they've gone to 10 stories.
Girl, I didn't even realize this is a 10th one.
Yes.
Fast X.
Good for them.
It's because of dipshits like Doc that still go to the movie 4 times to see it in theater.
I will watch the fuck out of my D&D with race cars movie.
There you go.
They just power up. They level up every fucking movie. There's a mage. There's a paladin. There's literally like every class in their little group.
There's just always like, I mean, I like the hot chicks. Always do that. The bikinis are nice.
Yeah. Charlize Theron's in this one, right?
She's been in like 4 of them now.
Oh, I don't even know. See,
she's been the villain like for a while.
Yeah.
But they replaced The Rock with John Cena.
That's a trade up. That's
because Vin,
especially if he needs the Chinese in it.
Yeah, that's because
The Rock saved Fast and the Furious at one point, and then Vin Diesel crapped all over him.
Yep. And I was really, really, really hoping that was a work, and they were just going to wrestle at Mania.
Yeah.
I just need Peacemaker versus Black Adam. That would be great.
But we already had Hobbs and Shaw, and Jason Statham's back in this one.
Hobbs and Shaw was really bad.
Hobbs and Shaw was good until the end, where they fought with a dance.
Really Roman Reigns shows up and all The Rock's cousins.
Yeah.
Shockingly, The Rock's mom was super soulful.
Yep. And you have the Usos back there. You got everyone else from that family.
The Noah family.
Yeah.
Obviously, Heel Yule would know better than I. He's the wrestling expert.
Oh, please.
You didn't watch Hobbs and Shaw and see the entire family in there?
I heard about this, but no, I don't watch that.
Don't watch that movie. It wasn't very good.
I'm not going to. Wait, a spin-off of Fast and the Furious?
Yeah.
No.
It was The Rock and Jason Statham.
I love how we're supposed to forget that Jason Statham was like a mass murderer serial killer in that series.
I know.
Like, all forgiven. Like, you never killed anyone.
Oh, that is very much like wrestling then.
Yes. It's totally. Yeah, like they've and that was the one thing that I was disappointed by. I'm like, by the time you got to Jason Statham, I'm like, wow, we got him to like pure supervillain level. And then the next movie they teamed up with him.
Face turn.
Yeah.
Because they needed it for Mania.
Yes.
They needed another good guy for Mania season. To fight Charlize Theron. That tells you how bad Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is. Nobody even wants to talk about it. We'd rather talk about the dead Fast and the Furious franchise.
Seriously.
Fuck you. It's awesome. It's not dead.
Oh my goodness, not very good. So let's wrap this bad boy up. I still got to record this best of the week thing. My throat is killing me. I haven't been feeling good all week. The entire family's been sick. Let's talk about some comic book recommendations. Yule Carter, you are the proprietor of Fantastic Comics. You are a comic book man. You're in the business.
Yeah.
What comic books were you recommending this week?
I am recommending them. Number one, my customers are very thrilled with these, and I've been enjoying them also. Now, these are going to ruffle some feathers. Fantastic Four, number 4, answered the question. It was an okay issue. Not my favorite of the bunch, but
good cover.
Well, all the covers are very good by Alex Ross. The art inside is good, Coelho, and I think, y'all were scared about Ryan North, but I think he's doing a legitimate try at telling classic Fantastic Four stories, and you should check it out.
Him exceeding expectations is actually trying to tell a real story.
Well, I mean, people are really upset. We're not upset. People were like thinking about all his other bullshit he's done. Squirrel Girl.
It's kind of pathetic that Marvel would put him on a book that important, but I get.
Well, yeah, but I've been. You need another voice, and at least he's trying. Wildcats, I've been enjoying it. It's pretty fun.
I didn't mean to thumbs up Wildcats.
It's okay. That's
you
fine.
did it.
Rosenberg.
I've been enjoying it. I think the art's good. I'm not a Rosenberg fan, but I have been enjoying the action that's been going on. And then 2 more. Danger Street, number 3. Fantastic. Selling out like crazy. I have to get more 1s and 2s and 3s back in. The art by Jorge Fornés is excellent, and Tom King is reeling it in a bit. there's still that depression type stuff, but it's understandable. But with
you're falling for the classic Tom King trap where he starts the story out okay and then drops the ball.
So probably around halfway point, 6th, 7th issue, we're going to find out if we want to keep going. But overall, he's not fucking with characters you love. And so it's acceptable. And I think his portrayal of Metron going through the source wall in this last issue was very cool. And next week, Superman #1, Joshua
I've been
Williamson.
hearing this rumor that it's pretty good.
Dude, I loved it. I thought it was really good. I'm sure there will be reasons why it wasn't, but the art by Campbell, is that his name?
Jamal Campbell,
Yeah, really, really, like they're putting a good guy on it. And that's what we want. We want someone, or we want a good person on it. And Williamson, it doesn't seem suck.
So are you daring me to do a review next week about what's wrong with it? You think I can't find something bad with this comic book?
So it just depends. Are you okay with the secret identity thing? We have new roles for characters, and I'm enjoying the dynamic between Lex Luthor and Superman already. Yes. There you go.
You think I can't tear apart a good comic book? You are out of your mind, sir.
Well, have fun.
I'm just dazed. Come on, I don't look for reasons to hate stuff. Thank you very much for the recommendations, and I have absolutely heard from more than one person besides Yule. Be on the lookout for Superman #1. You're gonna want to read it because it's a very good issue, is what I'm told. Jim from Weird Science DC, and Marvel and manga, really, just Weird Science Jim.
All that stuff. Yeah.
You read a lot of bad comic books, but you also read some good comic books. What should you read this week?
This week, not many recommendations. First off, I will say that I've heard that Superman is really good. I have read it myself. I'm not going to give my opinion yet, but Gabe said that it's excellent. I don't trust Gabe worth a crap. So no, I'm telling you,
Predator #1 review.
I told him. He said Superman's great. I'm like, yeah, so is Predator, right there. It's nonsense. But
you know what he gave? He gave Lazarus Planet Dark Fate 7 out of 10.
Oh yeah. You know what I gave it? A 3.
Exactly.
It was awful.
It's a real score.
Yeah, we ended up on our podcast. I gave that a 3 and made fun of Gabe the whole time. So you end up with, I'm going to go Swamp Thing Green Hell #2, the Jeff Lemire book. That's the problem. The big problem with it is it's taken about a year for the second issue. Who knows when the next one's going to come out, but it was really good. I do like Jeff Lemire a lot. But I will say, be on the lookout for Superman next week. I don't know that I trust, like the idea of Tom King halfway through the series it goes down. Joshua Williamson is another one that starts out strong a lot of times and then fades away, changes things up, doesn't remember what he wrote. So, cautiously optimistic. It's pretty good, and the art is really great. So I'll give you that. But I also read the coming up Tom King finishing that what's it called, Human Target, and that all he does is ruin characters. I just want to throw that out there. It just ruins characters, and Yule's right though.
Should I do a video on that one too? Jim?
Oh yeah, do it because you're gonna.
Okay.
But Yule is 100% right. You don't mind it if you don't really care about the characters. And, he does his thing, but, so there you go.
I mean, he does do that thing, it's like, oh, you're going to make Adam Strange a war villain, and all this other, like, it's an interesting concept, maybe for like an 8-page story,
Elseworld.
But
Elseworld.
Well, I feel like most of his shit's
most of it is
anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny because that Strange Adventures, not to go, too long with this, but that was going to be in continuity. They read it and said, nope, it's out of continuity. Yeah. Black labeled nonsense. So,
You know what's funny, Jim? When I read Josh Williamson's Flash run, I think it's pretty strong. It starts to wind down at Flash War, which I don't think it was his idea. I think that was pushed on him. But once you get onto his Force Quest, my goodness, is that concept becomes shit overnight.
It's shit. And at the end of that, remember, you had Barry come back and go, I couldn't figure anything out. Let's move on. Then you had Paradox and that nonsense. But again, he's a weird writer that series themselves tend to go a little wonky, but even arcs within the he's weird. Yep. It's like, and Josh.
Then he brought it home, though, the last 3 issues.
Well, that's what you do. But each arc, he kind of resets. It might be good, but then it fades. He's a weird writer. He's the architect of the DC universe right now. So.
Yeah.
Definitely be on the lookout for Superman #1.
Yeah.
Even the jaded Jim is saying be on the lookout
for it.
So.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Josh, you're a DC fan. You're more of a Batman guy. Are you going to pick out or check out Superman #1?
Yeah, I'll probably check it out. But I mean, like the moment that it was announced Williamson was writing the book, I already had the hesitation of he tends to start well and then just completely fumble the ball. Which, if you've ever met Joshua Williamson, makes total sense because that guy's like, oh, hey, I've got a great idea, and then I'm gonna do, and like, so I can imagine why. Like he is who you would expect to be reading comic books like 20 to 30 years ago. Like he was that kid. Like you're like, yeah, you do read comics, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice. What do you recommend, Josh?
The only thing I'm recommending this week that's a new comic is Nemesis Reloaded #2, Mark Millar and Jorge Jimenez. So for me, that was it. And then go buy some old books. There's some good stuff.
If you're looking for something hopeful with a really good hero, do not read Nemesis Reloaded.
No, I'm not saying it's a good heroic book. I'm just saying it's actually a well-crafted book.
Oh, it's great. I'm with you. The art is fantastic. But my goodness, that is pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Doc, you got any recommendations this week? You recommending people go watch Fast and Furious?
Well, yes, I am going to recommend that, but because I always recommend people watch Fast and the Furious. So I am going to recommend old comics. So we'll start off with this Psylocke #1 because it's got these dope Dave Finch.
Look at that booty.
Yeah, I know, really.
Then we will go to the much more rare and hard to find second print of Psylocke #1.
All right.
So this is the second print. I don't know. Can you guys see that all right?
Look at that Psy sword.
But check out the side sword. And then if we want to go really, really old.
Whoa.
This Golden Age Superman Omnibus Volume 3. Ooh.
Get that while you still can, because Superman does some crazy stuff in there. Once Warner Brothers goes back and look at that, they're going to censor the crap out of it.
Yes, exactly. So go buy before it disappears. I found it always for
Doc hair reveal. How
I know,
about
really,
Doc
hair?
bald reveal?
Yes, Doc bald reveal. No, I mean, look, it's a $75 book. I got it at Ollie's for $20. So
just think what you're seeing in the background. That is only one corner of Doc's man cave. Apparently, he's just surrounded by nerdy comic stuff. Oh, well, look at that.
Those
the filing
cabinets
cabinet.
you made. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. You know how many lockers Doc had to be thrown into as a kid to get to the point where he is right now?
I was already always a big guy, so not like a fat guy, but like a big guy for my age. So I never got shoved in the locker.
You're not in the comic books, you still get swirlies.
Nah, dude, I played sports. I played sports, so I never got swirlies. I was a hockey player.
Yeah.
Just what do hockey players do to haze people?
Don't they glue their butt cheeks together and stuff?
No, mostly
the tape. Yeah.
Mostly we throw their shit in the shower.
Yeah. Little bang.
You know what we did when I was in
like
the Air
young
Force?
blood.
If you left anything you owned out, like you went to go eat or something, I would take a bag, fill it full of water, and I would put that in there, and then I would put it in the freezer. You would have to chip it out. It doesn't matter if it was a fucking hat, if it was your wallet, anything. It was great.
Yeah,
Josh,
sounds about right.
Like that joke? Would you freeze people's stuff?
We would get like the worst guys, like smelly gloves. And you make people breathe that in. It's awful. Yeah, it's pretty bad in hockey. Those gloves.
Oh yeah, the glove.
The glove deal.
Yeah,
we would do that a lot. Oh, it's the worst. It's really bad.
Face wash.
Yep.
Just a face wash with the palm of your glove. Oh Jesus.
It was the
I always thought that was with nut sweat.
Yeah.
No,
I'm telling you,
stank.
It's so stinky.
Probably worse.
Yes.
Hockey stank is bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're probably bringing up some bad memories for some of the nerds watching the show right now. So we will sign out of here. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. Jim enjoyed the Super Bowl even more, seeing the greatness of Patrick Mahomes, live and in person. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you think Jalen Hurts did a good job? Did you like Jalen Hurts' performance?
I think he was amazing. He was the only reason they were in the game.
Yeah, he's very good. A lot of people don't give him credit.
I thought the Fox broadcasters did a wonderful, fantastic job of filleting the fuck out of Jalen Hurts for the entire
they
game.
did.
Yeah.
You gotta earn it.
That was the angle they were
amazing
going with.
performance.
Oh God, it was from the opening snap. It was Jalen Hurts every time they opened their fucking mouth.
Man.
Man.
Thankfully, Patrick Mahomes shut it up in the end, so that was the best part. Next week we should have Skip and Tosh. I haven't formally asked him, but hopefully Skip will join us. He's a friend of the channel. That'd be fun. So thank you very much, everybody. We've done enough sports talk and nut sweat talk and prank talk and